All right, welcome to the stream. What's up, ATF, Cody Turbo? Rural trade fail. A pig named Samsung. What are you talking about? All right. We're going to learn about UFOs today. Just so you know, the following program deals with controversial subjects. The theories, opinions, and beliefs expressed are not the only possible interpretation. Viewers are invited to make a judgment based on all available information. What's up, JC? So it seems like sightings, we usually have a good time watching sightings, but I thought we would mix it up a little bit today, and instead of watching sightings, we would watch encounters, which I don't know if you remember encounters or not, but it's kind of a similar vibe. It's probably the same people, to be honest. But anyway, let's watch a few episodes of this show, and if we like it, we can continue it we can have a return stream for it. What's up, South to West? What's up, Hugh Scanlon? I put up the Bay Area crash out, South to West.
Viewers are invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight on Encounters, The Hidden Truth.
These things were just flying all over.
Our team of investigators uncovers startling new evidence of alien contact.
Other intelligence has reached this planet.
From Boston, reporter Sandra Pinkney investigates claims of sinister alien abduction.
I'm a walking, talking human farm for them.
Are these the victims of extraterrestrial sexual abuse?
I've had sperm samples taken.
Wow, this is coming right out of the gate.
From California, Russell Rhodes uncovers frightening airline pilot reports of UFO encounters.
This wasn't an aircraft.
Are these unidentified craft a threat?
It was as big as a football field.
And from Germany, Natalie Brunt hunts for the truth behind these mysterious metallic discs discovered at this German...
What is the mystery of the gold coins?
Crop circle. Are these strange plates proof of alien contact?
This is a message. This is indeed a message by a non-human intelligence.
Do you see that guy?
Message. This is indeed...
Interesting guy.
A message by a non-human intelligence.
What's up? It's me.
Good evening, and welcome to Encounters, The Hidden Truth.
That truth's in the eye of the beholder, and in the next hour, we're going to meet some people who
Hello, Skeptic Trad.
have incredible stories to tell.
Whether or not you personally believe in the existence of the supernatural, it's undeniable
Who is this guy? Gold coin? Chocolate gold coins?
that many people are convinced that they have had experiences that no science can explain.
One of the most incredible of these experiences is called alien abduction. And according to a recent Roper poll, as many as 5 million Americans believe that they have been abducted by UFOs.
What? 5
It's
million?
been said that if 5 million people say a foolish thing, it's still a foolish thing, but something unusual is going on. Here's Sandra's report.
This is Mary, a professional woman living in New York City. This is Joe, a 35-year-old father living in Boston. And this is Colette, a single mother living in North Carolina. These people used to lead normal lives, but today they're a statistic, for they're certain that they have been repeatedly abducted by extraterrestrials.
They've entered my body without my permission. They're taking specimens from me. They leave scars on my body. They put things in my body. They take from my body. They implant. It's almost as like I'm a walking, talking human farm for them.
I've had sperm samples taken, and I've
What the aliens did to this woman was wrong.
actually seen and held, been presented with hybrid children.
I mean, I can see it being a high number, but 5 million? That seems like crazy high. I would figure like 10,000 maybe.
I live with a lot of physical pain as a result of procedures that are done to me. But I think even worse than that is the emotional pain.
Ruby has
I
changed.
get stripped down, I'm laying on a table, and
Okay, if Jimmy was around in the 90s, which I think he might, I think he's too young to have even been around at all, but if modern day Jimmy got transported back to the 90s, would they have him on as a guest on Sightings or on Encounters, either one?
and it's almost as if I'm having an abortion. I go through fetus extracts. I've been through fetus extracts. I have been walking around for 3 weeks at one point with something kicking. I'm a mother. I have been pregnant. I know what it feels like to have a baby inside of me. I know what it feels like to have a baby kicking and rolling.
These experiences are shared by millions who claim they've been abducted and in some cases physically examined by alien beings.
Oh my
No matter
God,
what
that guy was like,
believe,
Mike Lindell
and
was
in some
crying.
cases physically examined by alien beings. No matter what you believe, these victims are convinced that their experience is very real.
Cambridge, Massachusetts is one of the world's great research centers.
Oh, we're in New England, nice.
It's not surprising to find cutting-edge
this place is a dump.
research going on here.
Garbage watermark.
It is surprising to learn that some of those studies include alien abductions. Dr. John Mack, a Pulitzer Prize-winning author of Harvard University, has studied this phenomenon. His research is shattering preconceptions about alien abductions and experiments on humans by alien beings.
Who is an abductee? Who is likely to be
Johnny Mack? Okay.
an abductee? We just don't know.
So what is this abduction phenomenon all about?
Fundamentally, the abduction experience is the entering into a person's life of some kind of other intelligence, which appears as humanoid beings, which takes people
Topra.
out of their homes.
I actually really like this artwork. That is, I think this is cool. I like this, evil alien looking back from behind the bars.
Homes and does a series of physical procedures, the result of which seems to have to do with some kind of growth that people can undergo if they can face up to the truth of their experiences.
To aid in his research, Dr. Mack runs an abduction support facility in Cambridge, Massachusetts. This is significant because for the first time, the abduction epidemic has been treated with the seriousness that it deserves. People shamed into enduring their has been treated with the serious.
False mem conflissues. Research team to do. 4 shits. Outcats. Both.
That it deserves. People shamed into enduring their nightmare in silence have now begun to come forward. Other groups are organizing meetings like this one in Southern California.
In my mind because
Wow.
that ship reminds me of what I saw outside the window.
These are sanctuaries where victims of UFO abductions can share their experiences, taking comfort in the fact that they are not alone.
Well, I thought you guys were laughing because you were different from me. You were abducted and I wasn't. I was just crazy, and you guys were laughing, humoring me along.
Because we did relate to what you were saying, yeah.
I was in the bathtub, and I reached down to scratch my leg, and lo and behold, I found these puncture marks. I'm just going to show these pictures to everybody in the group, just kind of pass those around.
This physical scarring is common. Even skeptical physicians can't always explain these marks. Many times victims wake up and discover bruises, lacerations, and scoop marks. This often
How can the
triggers
doctors possibly know what exactly caused them?
repressed memories of an alien encounter. Sharing photos, homemade drawings, and recollections can help victims.
Look at this guy squeezing in on old boy. Got his arm around him and everything. Look at this. He's really squeezed in there.
Recollections can help victims cope with their nightmare and come to terms with their experience.
As I recall,
A key tool used to release these suppressed UFO memories is hypnosis. Yvonne Smith has performed hypnotic regressions on hundreds of abductees.
When I go through the process with them of hypnotic regression, I take
The heathen with an alien abduction story.
them back to that particular time and place where this first occurred. And sometimes we don't get anything, and sometimes we get a whole lot of information. It's very, very difficult. You have to be very careful not to lead your subject into an abduction experience. So you have to pose the questions very carefully.
John believes he was abducted by aliens. Recently, he allowed our cameras to record his hypnotic regression. He consented, knowing that reliving the experience could be painful.
He'd be upset that their landing craft caused damage to his yard.
I feel so helpless.
Who's gonna pay to resod
Hypnotic
this?
trance enables John to travel back to the night of his abduction.
Yeah, I hope.
Why's he got one hand under the pillow?
Just tell me what's happening, John. Try not to hold anything back.
No, I'm just lying there trying to recover from this.
John recalls a painful experience when alien creatures forced him onto a table so they could perform excruciating experiments.
I was surprised to learn there was a sexual component to these procedures.
Oh, boy.
That involves the taking of sperm samples from the men, the taking of eggs from the women, sometimes the re-implanting of an egg that has been altered in some way. Women experience that a fetus is grown inside of them. The fetus will then be removed in a subsequent abduction. They feel that they are being used for some kind of breeding purpose.
And for 3 weeks, I walked around with something inside of me, kicking and rolling. And I'm saying to myself, thinking I'm crazy the whole time, but knowing I'm not,
Right.
They're running another experiment on me.
Of course.
They planted another baby inside of me.
In one of my experiences, a taller being handed me a female child that was mine. And it was the most human-looking one I've ever been given. And it was definitely mine. It was the result of an egg that they had taken from me. And there was an unbelievable bond to that child, particularly because it was more human-looking than the other ones that
Is this what it looked like?
I had been handed before. All I did was hold the child. That's all I did. And cried. Because I knew it was going to be taken away.
Yes, I've definitely had the feeling that the infants I've been presented with were in some part my own. I want to understand. I want to be able to...
What's up, gobbledygook?
Hold these infants. I want to be able to know these. Who are these people? I want to know.
I don't know all the answers to why this is happening, why they're producing these children, why they're taking them away.
Yeah, all the satanic panic stuff.
And it's that uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen. But there's a piece of me out there, there's a piece of me, my soul out there somewhere that I don't know what's happening with it. And that's hard.
Millions of abduction victims look for an explanation. Are they part of a mass hallucination or targets of a bizarre experiment? While waiting for an answer, they also wait for a little compassion.
But the hardest part of all of it has been how society
Well, how's this lady's husband feel? She keeps getting knocked up by these aliens.
treats you. That's the scary
What impact is it having on the American family?
part. The way people look at you, the way people ridicule you because you don't fit the norm.
You want to hold on to another human being. You want compassion. You don't want sympathy, or I don't. You want understanding.
We can't force anyone to believe us, but please be considerate of the fact that we are living with something and living through something that causes a tremendous amount of pain, a tremendous amount of trauma, and we still have to live.
It's like the past life therapy where you figure out who you were in previous lives. It's always like real famous people or some badass something.
Our day-to-day lives. We still have to get up and go to our jobs and pay our bills and have our families and do all the things that everyone else does.
If even one of these thousands of people have undergone this experience, then something beyond our comprehension might be taking place, something with grave consequences for the future.
I think they take them back with them, the babies.
Sandra, you know there's been some criticism of the techniques used to recover these repressed memories.
That's right, John. Some researchers have been accused of manipulating their hypnotized subjects, but there are many people involved in investigating this phenomenon and the fact that these...
When a so-called white man puts you under hypnosis and tells you you've been kidnapped or abducted by a so-called alien, that's manipulation.
People all report just about the same experience suggests that something is definitely going on.
And the research undoubtedly will continue. Encounters will be back in a moment.
Coming up, Natalie Brunt hunts for the source of two strange metallic discs found at this crop circle.
We have never seen metallic plates like this.
Oh my God, Boogie
Is this a
2988.
form of a crop circle?
We have never seen metallic
What's Boogie doing in this?
plates like this.
Is this a form of alien contact?
This is indeed a message by a
It's a lot of
non-human
fun
intelligence.
people.
They're called crop circles, huge geometrically perfect shapes that literally appear overnight carved right out of farmers' fields. Some believe they're UFO landing pads. Others think they might be some sort of cosmic road sign. And of course, many people just think they are hoaxes.
Recently, the story of these crop circles took a dramatic turn. For the first time, physical evidence of their creation may have been discovered. At first glance, they look like
Kind of an she just trying to get rid of her accent, and she's kind of in that awkward middle phase.
ancient Roman dinnerware, but some believe they are something far more dramatic, extraterrestrial artifacts left behind by the crop circle's mysterious creators.
True.
The plate is like a map, the map of the crop circles. You know, the same signs you saw on the fields, you saw on the plate.
These are ancient, sacred symbols. And in my opinion, the phenomenon appears to reawaken our hidden memories of these ancient symbols of communication, to tell mankind that we are really entering a new age, the age when the gods return.
All indications are that this is part of a pattern of powerful, unusual intelligence showing itself on the planet.
Is an alien power drawing messages on a canvas of grain? Are these circles an elaborate global hoax? Our story of the latest development in this mystery begins on the morning of July 20th, 1991, when jogger Hans Slan discovered these.
Oh, Grace, you got to get away from those crop circles. They're holding you back.
Patterns carved into
It's abuse, Grace.
the wheat fields of Grasdorf, Germany. 150 feet long and 50 feet wide, they were inscribed with ancient symbols that appeared to be in the lost Celtic language.
This is a message. This is indeed a message by a non-human intelligence.
After receiving a telephone tip, local journalist Claudia Briebach was one of the first investigators to arrive on the scene. She immediately ordered a series of aerial photographs for analysis.
They were just huge. They were really amazing because they were so huge, and I first thought it couldn't be a human being doing this. If it's a human being having done this, it's a genius, really, because I think it was
These
about
people, they
100
knocked down crop. Whoever do this, genius.
meters long, and the circles were
This is
exactly
so dumb. To me, crop circles are like the jabroni of the alien stories world.
made, and it was really beautiful.
Our investigative team invited German researcher and author Michael Hesseman to
Oh, Grace, the designs are so intricate. Whoever did it's gotta be a genius.
analyze the origins of the Grasdorf circles. He began with a land survey to determine if the circles could possibly be a hoax.
If you fake them, you would really align them with the tram lines. But they are not in alignment to the tram lines. And it is exactly in an east-west alignment. And so really guide me to the conclusion that we have a real phenomenon and that they are not made by human beings.
Analysis of soil and plant samples taken from the Grasdorf circles revealed some unusual characteristics.
The stalks are bent but not broken. They lay down one by the next one next to each other in a circular pattern. We found molecular changes, we found genetic changes, we found all indications of a great heat.
Scientific tests performed by the Technical University in Berlin showed radiation levels inside the crop circles that were 172% higher than in the field around it. In April, psychic Helga Lundström visited another section of the Grasdorf fields, where the unexplained phenomena had been captured on film.
This is amazing.
She got a divining rod?
She detected the right side of what we call the sun wheel, what is one of the circles we had in the pictogram. And it is really amazing how she, after 2.5 years, really detected the right side for this formation here.
The mystery intensified when metal detector tests of the crop circles uncovered 3 unusual metal plates. Each plate contained an image of the crop circle. 3 unusual metal plates.
Man, those bells or whatever those things are coming in really hit.
Each plate contained an image. Uncovered 3 unusual metal plates. Each plate contained an image of the crop circle pictograph, exactly the same design that had been carved on the wheat fields. German historian Moschkotte Litfas helped analyze these metal plates, plates that were found to be made of precious metals, bronze, silver, and gold.
I went with the plates with another man together.
Moschkotte Litfas.
To Berlin. There is an examination institute, a very, very big institute.
While you're looking for the crop circle evidence, try to find some water. I want her to go out there with one of those tuning forks and put it on her head and then like dial in the frequency.
And they found there is only silver in the silver plate, and the bronze is very unusual. We have never seen metallic plates like this. If you look on this picture, you see there are a lot of circles.
In what way?
But there are only 3 circles surrounded by half circles. And that are the places they found the 3 plates. In all the other circles, they found nothing.
How could such elaborate designs appear overnight in the darkness? Why did these huge symbols mirror the images of the metal plates? These are only 2 of the many questions that surround these mysterious circles.
We may not have an explanation for the Grasdorf circles, but there is evidence that many other crop circles have been man-made.
When we come back, we'll take a close look at a crop circle with a very down-to-earth explanation.
When we return, the crop circle mystery continues.
This is an authentic thing that cannot be duplicated.
In a crop circle formation, the electrical conductivity is entirely different.
We've got some kind of real phenomenon on our hands.
Well, many people believe that crop circles have an extraterrestrial source. Even true believers can't seem to agree on their purpose. Some say they're UFO landing sites, others some sort of intergalactic art gallery. But to non-believers, there's one word.
Spamming emotes, you mean like the ones that fly up on the screen?
That best describes these circles: hoax.
But recently, in a Maryland field, I learned that hoaxing one of these circles isn't as easy as it looks. In order to find out how a hoax might be executed, we met with sociologist Jim Schnabel. He told us that it was possible to fool some of the people all of the time.
The first formation I made, a friend of mine and I went in, and we had had a few beers, but we were still a bit frightened about being caught. Eventually we got used to it, though, and we made the thing. And within a few days, word got around that this thing had been made, and people started talking about it, and some people said it was a hoax and it was a mess, and other people thought it was genuine. And we started learning from our mistakes, and pretty soon people were crowing over the formations we were making. I think there's a possibility that some simple formations around the world are real. I just think that it's a very rare phenomenon, and it's, in any given formation, it's more likely that it was man-made, unless you have some extraordinary evidence which shows that it was made by something else.
But with hundreds of crop circles appearing around the globe every year, compelling evidence suggests that all these circles
How did Nightbot figure that out? That's kind of interesting. I didn't think there was any way to be able to tell.
Not be man-made. Researcher and author Steve Canada has been analyzing the phenomenon for more than 20 years.
The way we can tell that this is a genuine crop circle phenomenon is to look at the properties and verify that the stalks of the plants have been bent at a swollen node.
I didn't ignore anything.
And they continue to grow horizontally. The genuine formations have a smooth swirling to them, that is one direction on top and underneath the opposite. And the other feature that's been found is a weaving kind of effect of the stalks.
Strangely, in every single square foot of this 1993 circle, one wheat stalk was left standing, while the rest of the wheat was smashed flat.
The question would be, how in the world would anyone do that? This is an authentic thing that cannot be duplicated. The British Army's tried. The British Army's been very serious about this. They have tried to reproduce.
The British Army has spent many, many dollars and many man-hours trying to reproduce crop circles.
What they have found, and they haven't been able to do it.
Laboratory tests done on the crop circle stalks and seeds reveal mysterious cellular alterations within the grain. University of Michigan professor and biophysicist Dr. W.C. Levengood analyzed these plants and drew some interesting conclusions.
What I find is that
Dr. W.C. Levengood. Yeah, he's been on sightings before, Dr. Levengood.
in a crop circle formation, the electrical conductivity is entirely different than it is in a control sample. Or
ATF answered you directly. I like Kinetic Kel. I don't like her when she interacts with anybody in the Thorposphere. I feel like she just doesn't feel like she's, you know, a fit there. But I like her as when she's just streaming on her own, or even with like her, whatever the I don't know, her friend,
or a hoaxed one, or a man-made one. These intercellular changes that I'm talking about would be absolutely, there's no way I know of any technology that could go out in the field and replicate this over a circle that's 80 to 100 feet in diameter.
Excited by these new findings, astrophysicist John Burke did a series of electrostatic readings on fresh crop circles.
We did experiments
yeah,
last year which showed
why would I bring up crop dusting to ATF? It'd be like bringing up leg drops to Hulk Hogan. He already knows everything.
that at least some of these electrical changes cannot be produced by people knocking crop down. So regardless of what percentage of these things may be produced by people, there's quite a few of them out there that aren't. And so very definitely we've got some kind of real phenomenon on our hands, yes.
If these elaborate designs are not created by a man-made technology, then who or what is responsible? The answer to that question continues to elude investigators.
Natalie, when you were examining these circles, what conclusions did you come to?
Well, John, with enough manpower and enough time, you can make a crop circle. But these gigantic, mathematically precise circles always appear overnight.
I'm watching the same show you are. How the hell do I know what they're going to cover later on?
And in most cases, no evidence of a hoax has been found. No
do I
tire
know?
tracks, no footprints, nothing.
And Encounters will be back in a moment.
Listen, I don't know if you saw the title of this stream, but it was called Frank but Friendly. You're not being friendly.
As a journalist and as a pilot, I've heard about things pilots have seen but simply cannot explain. Though I've never seen a UFO, I believe these witnesses are reliable and their stories quite credible. Recently, Russell Rhodes investigated some of these aerial encounters. Russell?
John, many pilots are frightened. Encounters has learned that not only have they seen UFOs in the air, they've been pressured into remaining silent on the ground. But now they're finally beginning to come forward. Here's my report.
They're like, listen, you better not tell anybody about those aliens that you saw. Certainly not a nationally syndicated television show.
It happened on the night of November 17th, 1986, 35,000 feet over Alaska. A pilot from Japan Airlines reported seeing a UFO 2 times bigger than an aircraft carrier, flying dangerously close to his plane. He alerted air traffic control. This is the actual tape of their conversation that night.
That is firm. We do not have anybody up there right now. Can you give me the position of primary you're receiving?
The pilot tracked the enormous UFO for 10 minutes, and then it vanished into the night stars. Shaken, the pilot completed his scheduled flight, only to learn that he was grounded. He is not alone. Air traffic personnel are pressured into silence as well. This controller, who has tracked UFOs on radar, feels strongly that authorities such as the FAA do more than just discourage the filing of UFO sighting reports. Only on the condition that his identity not be revealed did he agree to talk to us.
I mean, if you're working, wouldn't they know who you were? Like,
Do you think there's actually a system in place to discredit people who might come forward?
Yes. There was one in Fairbanks
that
Come on.
the controller saw something up to the north.
I saw something. It was the size of 2 aircraft carriers.
And he reported it. And they made him look like an idiot. And he said, hey, forget it. I'm dropping the paperwork.
True, mac and cheese.
Must have been mistaken.
You know, some people who see this might think you're seeing things. What would you say to them?
I know what I saw. And if they would choose to
I'd recognize that shape anywhere.
say that it was something different, they weren't there.
Dr. Richard Haynes, a retired NASA scientist who documents these sightings, helps pilots fight back. He defended the Japan Airlines pilot.
Captain Tarucci followed the book. He did everything by the book. He reported the phenomenon, which were multiple objects, by the way, not just one. He kept the airplane in control at all times. He had multiple eyewitnesses in the cockpit, and even at that, he lost his flying status. The chief medical officer for Japan Airlines told me Captain Tarucci was asked to stop his flying duties because the airline did not want to have pilots flying their airplanes who were seeing visual illusions.
Even the FAA did not dispute Captain Tarucci.
So that's the deal with them being grounded then, is that the people are like, man, we're not having somebody up there that's hallucinating.
Claims because air traffic control had confirmed the UFO on radar.
Defender 1628 at register. I'm picking up a hit on the radar, approximately 5 miles in trail, your 6 o'clock position. Do you concur?
They were very rational at the time when they landed at the airport. There was no appearance of any kind of drug or alcohol abuse or anything like that. They're very sincere about their situation and their descriptions. And basically, we have no reason to doubt them with regard to what it is they say they saw.
But it was Dr. Haynes' extensive database of similar cases that helped Tarucci get his job back.
I went to bat for him, and I persuaded them, I think, that Captain Tarucci is not all that unusual because of all these other cases that I have. Second, that the objects he saw are not all that unusual, as bizarre as they seem to be to most people. And third, he's a good pilot.
Aviation pioneer Dick Russell's distinguished career includes 26 years as an air safety chairman and 5 years as spokesman for the Airline
Dick Tussle
Pilots Association. He's flown virtually every passenger plane made since the DC-3.
Do you have a hat on that said China doll?
In the fall of 19...
Is that his plane?
He's flown virtually every passenger plane...
Yeah, China doll.
...made since the DC-3. In the fall of 1956, Dick Russell was flying as a co-pilot when his flight captain pointed out the window.
Well, it's, you know, she's just trying to live her life.
And I looked up.
Her sabbatical, which lasted like a ridiculously low McHenry level, like 36 hours or something. After I did a post about it and a video, then she's got to immediately come back.
And I saw an object which was saucer in shape. It was approximately 50 or 60 feet in diameter. I was stunned, and I said, "What is that?"
I agree. I mean, I don't, you know, whatever. I thought he was saying, like, the government was holding them back under, like, threats or whatever. But that makes sense. Like, if you're, you know, if you believe, you believe. But if you're a company or a corporation and you've got the safety of, you know, dozens or hundreds of people in the hands of somebody, you don't want them believing that they're seeing a floating aircraft carrier.
And about that time, it zoomed across in front of my windscreen and stopped, and then flew off at about a 45-degree angle, very high speed. I said, "What in the world was that?" He said, "Well, now you've seen one." But he says, "You can't tell anybody because they think you're nuts."
Ridicule and humiliation have been a constant for pilots ever since they first began to report UFO sightings during the Second World War. By the 1950s, although sightings were becoming more common, filing reports became a rarity.
The phone will ring one night, and here's a senior captain of an airline who says, "Gee, I've got to tell somebody my story." And then when I assure him it'll be confidential, which it always is if he wants, this wonderful story comes rolling out.
With well over 2,000 cases in his computer database, Haynes has found a remarkable consistency in the descriptions of these objects.
I have wonderful cases of the airplane is like here, and the object will be off the left wing, and then it'll hop over to the right wing. One very interesting case I investigated involving a commercial transport flying across the country at night. The captain told me that he was on autopilot flying at cruise altitude and cruise speed when all of a sudden the airplane began to fly by itself to deviate off, I believe, to the left-hand side.
What?
The alarmed pilot noticed that all three of his compasses were pointing to different headings. Then he saw a bright object hovering by his left wing. He observed it for several minutes before it darted off in a flash. That pilot did not report the sighting and spent years not talking about his...
But I mean, if that's all she has, then you can't really begrudge her for it, you know?
UFO experience. Here in Los Altos, California, though, we found him. Neil Daniels is retired now and no longer silent about what he saw almost 20 years ago.
Air traffic control in Boston said, United 94, where are you going? And I said, well, when we figure this out, I'll let you know. Whatever it was, it did cause a...
This guy's like real quiet. He comes in and talks to him. He's like, now listen, fella, you didn't see what you saw up there, okay? And the guy's like, no, I swear I really did. And then he like walks out and talks to somebody and like straightens his tie. And he's like...
Disruption in the magnetic field around the aircraft to the point where it did pull the aircraft off course.
The airplane is the focus of attention of the phenomenon for some strange reason, not the other way around.
Later on, I mentioned it to my boss, and he gave me a ration about, well, bad things happen to people that have sightings like that.
Neil Daniels wasn't sure what his boss meant by bad things, but bad things do sometimes happen to those who file UFO sighting reports.
Pilots know now that...
Yeah, Craig Fingerling wanted a studio there, but we ended up having to settle on his office being in Marina Del Rey.
You can make reports all day long, and nothing will be done about it. Nothing will be investigated. They'll take your report, and they lose it immediately.
The Bay Area's doing
Military
everything
pilots
wrong.
have made reports many times. They've chased them.
Do something
they have been,
damn good.
Set out to chase it, to find out what they are. They come back with reports, and it's as far as it ever goes.
In the early 1950s, Art Schaff was flying 7 passengers, including 2 officers, from Eglin Air Force Base in Florida to Louisville, Kentucky, when he had a spectacular sighting. The next day, Schaff was thoroughly debriefed.
There was a full colonel who was chief.
Palo Alto is like the main corporate offices, and then Craig Fingerling has his office in Marina Del Rey, and then there's also a Florida branch as well.
Of intelligence, and he's the one that called me in. I found out later that everybody was called in that was on that flight, and everybody apparently saw the same thing. Back in those days, when more than one person had a sighting like this, they used mass hallucination as a possible answer to the whole thing.
The suits are in Palo Alto. Craig Fingerling is like the daily operations manager, the CEO. So he's in Marina Del Rey.
Schaff had been the first to notice the strange orange light hovering alongside the plane. He quickly pointed it out to his co-pilot.
I don't think they would want me to give out the address. I feel like they know there's some, people like ATF in the chat that would be showing up at the offices trying to get autographs or something.
Out of nowhere, it's alongside of us. These 3 huge glowing balls in a triangle. And it stayed right with us as we pressed on. And the colonel said, "Art, turn into it." And I said, "Forget it." And he kept it up. So I very gingerly dropped my left wing into this, whatever it was, and it just took off like a streak.
Dr. Haynes showed us case after case of other pilot sightings, all with minute detail about the
look
encounters.
At this setup. Oh man, the bookshelves. Look at all this old tech. It just looks like the dingy visuals. This guy had no idea, man. He was living in the last of the good times.
Of course, many pilots don't believe in UFOs, but Dr. Haynes will often persuade them to carry his sighting forms along with them. And that will sometimes lead to a late-night phone call from an excited new believer.
He says, Dr. Haynes, you're never going to believe what just happened to me over Lake Michigan. And I said, Phil, what do you think you saw? He said, there's no doubt in my mind that's a vehicle from outer space. Nothing could do what it did.
He's got a nice pencil sketch of a Jawa sand crawler on his wall.
It was as big as a football field, he said. 50,000 people could be on that thing. It was so big. And he showed me, moment by moment, as he's sitting in this position at first, where the object seems to be imaged on the windshield throughout the entire sighting. It disappeared behind the post here. It reappeared. It's a real object. It seemed to be under intelligent control. It had structure to it. They felt a slight shock wave at the nearest point when the object was doing its turn and then going away. By the way, he did not report this case to the authorities. He kept this to himself.
Dr. Haynes says he wonders how many other pilots out there are just keeping it to themselves. One has to ask the question.
There's people out there just terrified of these football field ships they keep encountering, but they can't tell anybody. Their co-pilot's like, hey, everything all right, pal? And he's like, yeah.
Will there be a system in place that will allow pilots to file UFO sighting reports without fear of being grounded? There are other questions, too. What are these objects?
This wasn't an aircraft. You know, been around too many of them. Optical illusion, 7 people saw it.
You place your trust and your life in the hands of a pilot every time you climb on an airplane. But there have been too many sightings by people that, well, have some credibility to
indecent exposure
put
is
it
a
off
crime.
forever.
Can you honestly believe that this vast space that we have out here with as many...
What do you think? I'm gonna, if I had to give a guess, I'm gonna go Roy Orbison.
Heavenly bodies that are up there that we're the only
Heavenly bodies? Wait a minute, it's Cornette.
Doesn't seem possible to me.
He gave himself away.
It seems clear that pilots have been coerced into remaining silent about potential hazards they have encountered while flying. And this is dangerous for them and their passengers when we put our lives into a pilot's hands.
Flying is a serious business, and pilots are completely informed. The price for covering up the truth just might be paid in human lives. Encounters will be back in a moment. The modern era of UFOs began in 1947 with a series of dramatic sightings that culminated in the Roswell incident. According to many experts, a UFO crashed in New Mexico and a government cover-up began. As we're about to see, that cover-up may still be going on, and it isn't confined to just the skies over Roswell. Recently, in response to constituent pressure, Congressman Stephen Schiff of New Mexico tried to retrieve records pertaining to the Roswell incident. That was the beginning.
I thought this would be a very routine matter that I would request.
I mean, they got a congressman. What else can he ask for?
Defense Department, their records, they would provide me what they could. I'd give it to the constituents who asked for it, and that would be the end of it. Unfortunately, this has been anything but routine so far.
Physicist and noted UFO researcher Stanton Friedman has been following the Schiff investigation since its onset.
He wrote a detailed request, 3 pages long, to the Secretary
Stanton Friedman
of Defense, Les Aspin, last year, asking for a full report and briefing on the Roswell story, because many of his constituents claimed that it was being covered up. Instead of getting a response that he expected, he suddenly hears from an Air Force colonel in the Pentagon saying, oh, the Roswell, all that UFO stuff is over at the National Archives. The National Archives says we don't have anything.
I couldn't begin to tell you why the Department of Defense has acted in this fashion. This is the first time that I can remember one agency simply referring me to another agency and washing their hands of the matter. And then in this particular case, the second agency, the National Archives, says they don't have anything. So this is beginning to look like a runaround.
Michael Lindemann, founder
I
of the
was just
2020
thinking that this is starting to sound like a runaround.
group think tank, believes he knows why the government is refusing to release its documents.
There is very strong evidence, not only that
he's a futurist.
Other intelligence has reached this planet in numbers and diversity, but very strong evidence that our government, some people in government, know this and have treated it as a major secret. They did that for reasons which, I'll grant them, were probably good reasons. Today, they're stuck. They felt it was important to lie about it, and they've been lying for 50 years.
Bunch of liars.
And if a congressman is unable to uncover the truth, what chance does the ordinary public have? But since 1947, things have changed. Eyewitnesses own video cameras. Phone calls to emergency hotlines are recorded. And with persistence, we can gain access to extraordinary tapes like these.
911. We were just wondering, have you heard anything about these lights that are flickering up here in what is it, the southeast area? It looks like a string of Christmas lights that's way up in the sky.
Voice lady's calling the cops over a few lights. Oh, man, make sure you get the police on the horn for this one.
You are hearing the actual calls placed to a Western Michigan 911 line on March 8, 1994, following a number of UFO sightings. Police initially dismissed these sightings as an airplane, but local reporter Michael Walsh felt there was something more going on.
I've spoken with individuals who purported to have seen this. I've spoken with scientists, with government officials, essentially everybody who could shed some light on what this was or
Poppy the cat is named after Poppy of the Field.
Or could have been. And I've received just question marks so far.
Okay, what do you have there, sir? There were at least 4 lights, and they were all flashing like, okay, they were the sequence. It was a kind of like a V.
Yeah, so that's probably not too far from where we are. This is probably like, what, 95, 96 maybe?
And there was 4 lights, and they were blinking back and forth. And there's no way, I mean, a plane's not that wide.
After several minutes, the dispatcher decided to call National Weather Service in Muskegon.
What's up, Go Hogs? You don't like the green glowing screens?
Which is about 30 miles north of Holland, Michigan, to ask if there was anything...
Look like the Fallout consoles.
...on their screen that they might offer.
This is Ottawa County 911 calling. Did you get anything weird down in the southern Ottawa County area? Yeah, there's something big down there. Wait a minute, that's really strange. One of the people that called that I had happened to talk to said it looked like a bunch of cylindrical objects. Well, oh my God, what is that? They were going together and coming apart. Yeah, there's 3, and they're lengthwise. Now I'm getting 3 of them. They look like a triangle on my scope. They're very strong. Return, they're spiking, so there's something pretty solid. It's not precipitation or anything, especially up at that height.
We've tried to get in touch with as many sources at the National Weather Service as we can, including the radar operator. In the weeks since this event, we were told that the operator was on furlough and was unavailable.
In fact, public authorities who witnessed the phenomenon, including a police officer dispatched to the scene, have been mysteriously unavailable for comment. But the evidence speaks for itself. And 2,000 miles...
You know what? That's it good. Ben Thorpe beat his gag order as well.
Away, more evidence was being captured...
Even though his lawyer told him it was a terrible idea, he still did it.
...on videotape. The location, Roswell, New Mexico.
These things were just flying all over. They were doing incredible maneuvers. I saw a dark object...
Is this Angry Joe?
...that appeared like a cigar-shaped object that would zoom in between these. They almost looked like they were going to collide and be coming this way, and this dark object would go right in between and then disappear in the clear blue sky.
What they're doing is just like something I've never seen before. The maneuvers that they do. On the March 5th sighting, there's a half circle that automatically heads into a 45-degree angle. I've never seen a plane do that. I've never seen a bird do that. A balloon just floats in the air, so it couldn't have been a balloon. And it was way, way, way up there.
Mutual UFO Network video analyst Jeff Sainio analyzed the Escamilla footage.
We've seen him
we've got
before.
A daytime video. You can clearly see what's going on, and you also see multiple witnesses to this. You can hear them. You can hear children, and children are good observers, and they're terrible actors.
Right there! Others too!
Encounters analysis of the Escamilla footage only deepens.
Becky kind of, I don't know, she kind of seems a little mischievous.
The mystery. When the footage is slowed down, one can clearly see some sort of superstructure on top of the object. And when a still frame is selected, enlarged, and then electronically enhanced, this unusual superstructure becomes even more apparent.
it's obvious the Roswell UFO is no ordinary aircraft.
This is clearly not a fake. There's too many people involved. It's not an aircraft because it's overhead for too long and silent. The closest possibility would be as a weather balloon, but based on the limited shape information I have, it doesn't seem to match that. And most importantly, both of these objects appear to generate whirlwinds out of the bottom, and that eliminates pretty much any conventional object.
Public officials prevented from talking about events documented on both audio and videotape. A congressman denied access to official files. Pilots and air traffic controllers being pressured into remaining silent.
I'm sick
The cover seems to be continuing.
Keeping secrets is easy. You don't tell anybody. You make sure people are thoroughly investigated, and you make them sign agreements, and you learn very quickly that the penalties for breaking security include death, life imprisonment, forfeiture of all possible future benefits, heavy fines.
Certainly.
This sounds like the heathen talking about Officer Pompa.
And you make them sign agreements, and you learn very quickly that the penalties for breaking security include death, life imprisonment, forfeiture of all possible future benefits, heavy fines.
Certainly, if we go back to the Roswell incident as an example, we know that there are people who were warned off very matter-of-factly, very distinctly.
No, I heard about it, though, media hits.
The mortician Glenn Dennis told, if you speak a word of this, someone will be picking your
No, when the stream ended, I was pretty lit up. So I think I watched I fell asleep watching Quirky Love Rosie videos.
One's out of the sand. The sheriff, George Wilcox, told that if he spoke a word of what he'd seen, and he'd seen a lot, he would be killed, his wife would be killed, and his children would.
Do you think she's going to tell him about those kind of experiences, Corndog, or do you think she'll keep him discreet?
Be killed. Now this can only be called terrorism. That story set the tone for almost 47 years of massive misrepresentation and cover-up.
The question remains, how long can a cover-up
look at
hold
this.
before
Look
the
at
weight
this
of evidence?
bullshit. Look how much of this is redacted. The government loves to do this shit at every level. They love to fucking over-redact.
Evidence washes it away.
Here's the question you have to ask yourself.
What are they hiding? Why do they have to redact everything? They should only be able to redact what specifically has to be hidden, not entire sentences.
You can say, well, maybe the government knows something so terrible that they can't tell us. If that's true, then we are not living in a government of, by, and for the people. We have a right to know, to make decisions.
We've entered a time in our history when the people hate government lies. Therefore, it's not just a question of telling them an uncomfortable truth, but admitting a very long-standing lie, which was aggressively defended.
I put everything on the shelf because of this, because I know what we have.
This guy looks just like Angry Joe.
It's unidentified flying objects that we have on these tapes. I want the answer so I can go on with my life.
One need only examine recent American history to find parallels for this pattern of government cover-up. But as we've also seen, the truth can be hidden for only so long.
Did you see the video media hits of Aphrodite talking about, you know, that, I don't know if he's Chinese or Japanese, like an Asian guy, but he gives like little TED Talks now about stuff, and apparently he's kind of getting popular. Aphrodite made a video calling him the new Fauci.
Encounters will be right back.
If you would like to...
And remember, no abduction is closed to an open mind.
Contact us here at Encounters. Write to Encounters, P.O. Box 36B47, Los Angeles, California, 90036. To contact us by phone, call 213-925-1UFO.
Oh, not a 900
Or to contact
number.
us online, visit the Encounters forum on CompuServe by typing Go Encounters or at the following number. If you have a story you'd like us to investigate, we'd like to hear from you.
Only stranger than we imagine. It's stranger than we can imagine. We hope that over the last hour, we've given you something to think about. The decision, whether to believe or not, is up to you. I'm John Marshall.
Good night.
Yeah, Aphrodite's very concerned about him.
The following program deals with controversial subjects.
These are in broadcast order as well. So, like, that was the first episode of Encounters, and this is the second. And then the third, the fourth, who knows, maybe the fifth. You know, it's far-fetched, but maybe the sixth. Not today, but eventually.
The theories, opinions, and beliefs expressed are not the only possible interpretation. Viewers are invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight on Encounters, the hidden truth.
Nobody really knows why these extraterrestrials are here.
Has an attempt to contact alien intelligence led to a close encounter with a UFO?
It was stationary and it was sending out the primary colors that had...
Hold on a second.
just been sent out by the laser.
From Washington, our team of investigators stalked the legendary Bigfoot.
I think we scared him as much as he scared us.
Have they finally captured Sasquatch with heat-sensitive radar?
Yeah, I see him.
From Georgia, kids who claim they've had close encounters.
I looked up in the trees and there was this thing floating up there.
Do the extraterrestrials have a sinister plan?
The aliens are trying to create a hybrid mix of themselves and ourselves.
From Massachusetts, during a search for a ghostly apparition, a frightening sound is captured on tape that even the experts can't explain. Is this proof of contact with the other side?
There are things beyond this. There are other dimensions.
I don't know. Let me look on Aphrodite's page.
Hello, I'm John Marshall, and welcome to Encounters, the Hidden Truth. You know, one of the most popular legends of the unexplained goes by a somewhat ridiculous...
Yeah, her video is called Professor Zhang, J-I-A-N-G, is the new Fauci.
...this nickname, Bigfoot. But behind the legend, there may lie some startling truths.
I traveled to the wilds of Washington to separate fact from conjecture, and I learned one thing. There is a good reason why this legend has endured for thousands of years. Native Americans in the Pacific Northwest called it
awesome
Sasquatch. European settlers called it Bigfoot, but everyone calls it a mystery. Is it possible that the missing link between man and ape roams these dense forests? To the hundreds of eyewitnesses who have seen this huge creature, the answer is a definitive yes.
When I turned the headlights on him, I think we scared him as much as he scared us. It brought its hand up to block the light, let out a just scary scream.
We were looking at it and our brains wouldn't register what it was because we've never seen anything like this before.
Well, what's a jewelry store manager doing out in the woods?
When I made eye contact with it, it was not like looking
with Dave Hoffman, the social worker,
in an animal's eyes. And even though there was some distance, it was not like looking at an animal. There was intelligence there on the other side of those eyes.
Although every one of these eyewitnesses describes a different sighting, every encounter shares one thing: the enormous size of the creature.
He was about 8 feet tall. I weighed 200 pounds dead.
Oh, cool. Look at it. This is...
and he was a good 350, 400 pounds heavier than me.
Whoa, Tom Atkins, witness. Let's go.
Arms were as thick as my thigh.
Eyewitness testimony may hold up in court, but science demands further evidence. And the most dramatic evidence collected to date is this film clip shot near Yakima, Washington in the fall of 1967. If it's a man in an ape suit, anthropologist Grover Krantz finds the performance brilliant, if not impossible.
I went through it frame by frame, measuring everything I could on it, what the body proportions were, and I can state flatly that there is no human being alive who can fit into a costume with the dimensions that are shown there. Maybe it's a man who's got his elbows out, and that's the shoulders, but then any man of that height, the elbows are much too far apart to be measured. There's only one way you can do it. You get a 6.5-foot tall man, and go 1/3 out along his upper arm, break it, and introduce a new joint.
There is other evidence that Bigfoot exists. Huge footprints, hair samples, and droppings. But we decided to look for fresh evidence and maybe a first-hand encounter. We decided to go to the area with the most recent and concentrated sightings, Grays Harbor, Washington, a scenic county at the base of the Olympic Peninsula. Thickly forested, it's a place where a large animal could hide for a long time. Undaunted, we put together a team of witnesses, technical experts, and traffic.
Oh boy, look at this guy looks like an old-timey prospector. This guy looks like he's Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. Dave Thomas from Wendy's. I don't even know this guy. What?
To see if we couldn't capture Bigfoot on videotape.
What a group.
The rough spots, I'd say, would be about halfway to where that clear cut is.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. The maps are being read. The strategy is being planned. This is the last step before we head into the backcountry to look for Bigfoot. The remote backwoods area we're headed for is a place where Bigfoot was spotted just 3 months ago. Our hunt is nothing new. People have been searching hundreds of years for a creature whose heritage may trace back more than 1 million.
This is the jaw of the Gigantopithecus that was found in China. This is a large adult male, and it's only the tooth-bearing part of the jaw that we have. Trying to figure out what the rest of the skull would look like, I came up with this reconstruction for the skull. This then is roughly what I think the Gigantopithecus entire skull would look like. And I also expect that this is approximately what a Sasquatch skull would look like.
Okay.
We've made it to the end of the road. From here on out, there's nothing but nature between us and our quarry. Although some people outside the Pacific Northwest might scoff at an expedition like this, around here Bigfoot is taken very seriously. So seriously that one nearby county has declared it a crime to hunt him. If you do kill a Bigfoot there, and if it turns out he's a species closely related to man, you could face murder charges and prison time. Some people believe the only way to prove Bigfoot's existence is to kill one. But on this expedition, the only shooting will be done on video. Not that we wouldn't mind finding one that died of natural causes.
We don't believe in killing one just to prove it exists, but...
Oh, Larry Lund is great. Check this guy out.
We hope maybe someday we'll come across skeletal remains when we're out here, or one that's recently died on its own, or something.
But animals that die of natural causes aren't easy to find.
If an animal dies on its own, it has the opportunity to choose a place where it dies.
Isn't this the guy who, on sightings, he did like a whole thing about the video, how like he could tell from like the... He had some theory, was it that it was a woman, that it was a female Bigfoot, was his theory? He had something to do with that. He had some kind of take on that video.
And these we virtually never find. Nobody's ever found a bear that died a natural death that I've been able to locate.
After establishing camp, we set out to scout the area for signs of the creature. Bigfoot is probably the best-known animal in the world of cryptozoology, the study of animals that are suspected but unproven.
And probably the best example of a cryptozoological animal, or cryptid, as we sometimes call them, would be the African gorilla. These were considered by the European scientists to be totally mythological beasts until the first skin and skull came into a European collection in the year 1849.
Larry Lund hunted
deer.
So
up until 1849, gorillas were widely believed just to be like a Bigfoot type cryptid.
An elk in the woods of the Northwest for 20 years. Then he put away his guns and set out after Bigfoot.
When we follow trails, and especially along the riverbeds, we look for anything that's out of the ordinary for the normal animals of the area. We look for footprints, droppings.
Creature always out of focus? Yes, of course.
Large disturbed areas.
Larry spent most of his time searching for tracks along a nearby creek.
Here we have it's probably a doe track. Yeah, it is a doe track. These leaves being pressed inside it. It made me curious why they were stuck down the ground, but it is just a doe track.
He found plenty of deer and elk tracks, but nothing out of the ordinary. Meanwhile, Forester Wayne Moore and former Sheriff's Deputy Fred Bradshaw led me into the high country. Later that afternoon, we found something unusual.
You see something? This is an impression right here. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's a good possible right here. You got the toes, the cut edges along here for the heel. And that'd be at least a good 14-inch track.
And given what we see here, I mean, what does it tell us about the stride? How, I mean, in terms of the height, the bigness of the animal?
The bigness.
Well, if you...
Excuse me, Wayne Moore, could you comment on the bigness of the animal, please?
allow that is a track, then you've got a 6-foot stride. And a 6-foot stride would be extraordinary.
Would it help to make a cast of this?
Yes, it would show with when you pour a casting of it, it'll pick up more of the foot impression if it is anything at all.
We use a plaster that is easy to mix and quick to harden. The entire process took about 20 minutes.
This one's not probably one of the best ones that they've ever had, but it appears that it does have toes in it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it appears to be a large one over on this side.
Maybe, but the tracks led nowhere, and a few footprints made in mossy ground were not the definitive proof we were looking for.
This is just outlandish.
Stalking Bigfoot is no easy game. He's proven himself to be an extremely elusive quarry. To catch him on tape, we've devised a trap that includes everything from tripwires and motion detectors to floodlights and video cameras. Now, everything is set to work automatically, but we'll also rig an alarm that will alert us to Bigfoot's presence.
Sasquatch researcher Todd Nice staked out a rock quarry near our base camp.
Bigfoot purportedly has been seen digging up rodents on a couple of occasions.
First, he laid bait.
That if we had it in one piece, it could probably be gone in 2 seconds, but if we break it up, it gives them a reason to hang around a little bit.
The strategy here...
Do you think this guy genuinely believes that what he's doing is real? Or do you think he's just going along with it for the cameras or because he can grift at gun shows or whatever? Do you think this guy is really putting this stuff out here thinking that he's legitimately going to succeed in this endeavor?
Here is to lure the creature within range of our infrared sensors and floodlights.
It's my hope that the shock of the lights may give us an extra 10-15 second filming time.
Oh, Bigfoot Museum would be cool.
Also set traps in the forest nearby.
Immediately around my bivouac site, I will have some tripwires, which will also set off a high-pitched beep should we get anything right in the campsite itself.
Yet another kind of trap would illuminate any large animal entering the area. The Native Americans who lived in these forests were very familiar with the creature. Physical anthropologists studied the stone carvings they left behind.
It's not any of the animals that's normally encountered in the area. Because the Indians carved representations of all the animals that we know. This one appears to be ape-like. The only explanation that anyone's been able to come up with is whoever carved this was familiar with the face of something like a Sasquatch.
When an alarm sounded later that evening, Todd was there within seconds.
Uh-oh, here
Something
we go.
definitely hit it, because when I found it, it was pulled up here. Something had to have struck this strip line pretty good. Pretty elusive, whatever it was.
The rest of the night was a waiting game. Ultimately, it became clear that no one was taking our bait. But the hunt wasn't over yet.
It's now 5:30 in the morning, and we're about to catch up with the linchpin of our operation. It's a Bell Jet Ranger helicopter specially equipped with infrared heat-seeking instruments. If Bigfoot is anywhere near here, the chopper will detect his body heat. The crew will then radio us of his position and continue to track him from the air until we can catch up with him.
Bigfoot and what?
Are the ground conditions cool enough for you down here? Are there any problems with that?
Yeah, this is optimum conditions.
I thought that was Peter James for a second.
For infrared.
Yeah, optimum.
Coordinating their movements with the team on the ground, the helicopter crew
Oh, the film.
covers a 25...
Yeah, well, I remember that guy said something about it. Like, he had some kind of theory about because of its stuff with its body shape or its stride or something that it was a... I was thinking he said it was a woman.
5 square mile grid. Any warm-blooded animal in the area should register on the cockpit monitor. At first, the woods look empty, but a few minutes out, we see a warm area in the brush where a large creature...
True, Donald Dank. I read a book a while back that basically explained why you never see it is because he can pass through portals.
Seems to have been bedded down for the night. It can't be far away. And then we spot something alive in the underbrush. It looks tall, and it's huge.
Right, 60 degrees. Right, 60 degrees. Okay, I'm going to swing around to the right, and maybe we can identify them. They're directly below us on the right side.
He's right by an RV. He's got to be 6'8".
The remainder of our aerial search uncovers plenty of elk, but no evidence of Bigfoot. But that doesn't necessarily mean he isn't out here.
Obviously, if the animal is well hidden, the infrared can't pick them up in a cave or under a very dense tree cover.
If Bigfoot does live in the thousands of square miles of forest that make up the Pacific Northwest, we'll need more resources to spot him. But our trip wasn't for nothing.
When you're dealing with this type of phenomenon, you're not seeking final answers. You're seeking increments in the puzzle, small pieces, small bits. And consequently, anything that you develop is more than you had before.
Now, Russell, I can well understand how a live Bigfoot would elude trackers, but all creatures have to die sometime, so where are the bones?
Well, John, you'd really have to travel these woods to appreciate just how immense they are. If we assume that Bigfoot is the ultimate endangered species, there may be only a handful left alive. The odds of finding bones are stacked against us.
The proverbial needle in a haystack. We'll be right back.
When we return, children who claim they've seen UFOs.
I looked up in the trees and there was this thing floating up there.
Are they also the
kids versus aliens?
Victims of sinister alien abduction?
It's like if some man could come in your house and take your child.
An ideal UFO witness would have good eyesight, no financial agenda for making a story up, and
I think he was being falsely accused.
No preconceptions. For these reasons, reliable UFO witnesses are not always easy to find.
Joy.
Well, John, that's true, but maybe people have been looking in the wrong places. Recently, as part of our ongoing investigation,
Oh, Eric McHenry's synchronicity. We've got the globe back there.
Encounters went looking in the right place and spoke with children who are convinced they saw a UFO. Here's our story. For more than 4 decades, children have been reporting UFO sightings. These wide-eyed observers offer a unique perspective on this unusual phenomenon.
And it came this way, and then first it was going real slow, and
Augie Villegas.
There's 2 of them up there. Hold on. Look at them, flashing. They're flashing.
They're flashing.
Hampton, Georgia.
They're flashing.
Is a small town.
There's 2 of them up there. Hold on. Look at them, flashing. They're flashing.
Sounds like he's in the Little
Went real
Rascals.
slow, and then it just took off. Boom.
There's 2 of them up there. Hold on. Look at them, flashing. They're flashing.
Hampton, Georgia is a small town near Atlanta.
Hello.
It was in
Hello.
this well-kept trailer.
Hello.
Small town near Atlanta.
Goodbye.
Hello.
It was in this well-kept trailer park that a group of ordinary school children encountered a UFO. What'd you say?
I looked up in the trees and there was this thing floating up there.
I saw something up there and I didn't quite know what it was. And I asked Shannon, I said, what is that? And she said she don't know.
Wait a second. Jedi Joy, Big Patience.
And I hollered at Chris.
She jumped up and said UFO, so I jumped
Chris
up.
the YouTuber?
And I saw something black. It was hovering right over the building, but it was real high in the sky. So it hovered right across the, over in the sky and over to the radio tower.
You were screaming.
You were screaming? Yeah.
This is Ruby, Kel, and Lo.
I just sort of, I screamed a little bit, but I just sort of was in shock when I never seen anything like it.
This incident was investigated by Michael Norris. an Air Force veteran and chief editor of UFO Encounters. Now, this craft that they described, is this a craft that you've had reportings of before in this area?
What's interesting is when we started to report about this particular sighting, and we actually published some of the pictures and drawings that the children had made, I got some calls from people from other parts of the country saying, you know, we've seen this come up before. We have people who say they've also described this same shape, size, with the lights, but yet when you go to officials, whether the FAA or your military bases or the airports.
Hi, can I speak to the director of the FAA, please? Yeah, hey, listen, my kid saw a UFO. What do you mean by that? I mean, I want to know what's going to be done about it. Nothing, you say? Absolutely nothing? You don't just spend a bunch of time and money investigating every tip turned in by a child? Ha!
Said there is nothing in conventional aircraft that we know of that could explain what it is they saw.
The UFO vanished within seconds, but these children will feel the effects of this encounter for a very long time, and more than one will bear the scars of public ridicule. So when you walked into the school and you saw the principal and the teachers laughing at the children's experience,
oh my God,
how did you feel?
The teachers were laughing at the kids? Oh, wow. Based.
Made me very mad. I saw that principal laughing at those kids and joking around, and I asked him, I said, look at these kids.
Oh my God.
Tell by looking at them, there's something wrong.
Sighting a UFO and being ridiculed for reporting it is upsetting enough for a child. What's far worse is a close encounter of a different kind, alien abduction. Justin, a 10-year-old living in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, describes his first alien encounter.
I fell asleep, and then I woke up a little bit later early in the morning, and I saw these gray beings, and I was just laying there. Then I felt like a device, something around my wrists, my neck, and my ankle.
For children who've always relied on adults to protect them, these encounters can be traumatic, but kids aren't the only ones affected. Their parents suffer just as much from feelings of helplessness and
well, how are they going to arrest them?
Fear. Having your child abducted is terrifying no matter who or what is doing it.
It's like any other abduction, If some man or some guy...
Excuse me, could you be mindful of the algorithm, ma'am? And we don't want to use the word abduction. Try surprise adoption.
The ski mask would come in your house and take your child. The only difference between your child and mine is mine comes back.
When we come back, the terrifying stories of children who are convinced they have been abducted by aliens. Stay with us.
When we return, what sinister plan do the extraterrestrials have for our children?
Oh my God,
when
look
we
at that.
Return, what sinister plan do the extraterrestrials have for...
Oh my gosh. Is that Leela from Futurama?
For our children.
The aliens are essentially trying to create a hybrid mix of themselves and ourselves.
Our startling
Oh my God, this is terrifying.
Mix of themselves and ourselves.
Wow, that's a kid drew that? Oh my God.
Our startling investigation continues next.
Many children are convinced they have seen UFOs.
I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Witnesses also believe they have been abducted by aliens.
Author Bud Hopkins was one of the first researchers to investigate the abduction phenomenon, and he believes these children are among the most credible witnesses he has ever interviewed. From the Midwest to New York, these stories of alien visitations are strikingly similar. Manhattan-based writer Bud Hopkins has researched thousands of alleged alien abductions.
What has emerged through many, many cases is the idea that the aliens are essentially trying to create a hybrid mix of themselves and ourselves. They're interested in our DNA, our genetic makeup, and beyond that, they're interested in our personalities, our affection for our children, our love for one another, a whole kind of range of what we think of almost the most human characteristics we have emotionally.
One of his most remarkable cases is that of John Cortelia, an 11-year-old boy from New York's Lower East Side.
When it happened, I had woke up from my sleep,
and I had the sudden urge to look out the window.
What happened to John Cortile?
In my living room. So I got out of my bed and I just, went into my living room. I looked out the window and I saw something emerging from the water. So I didn't know what it was. I just watched it as it came toward my...
I was going to say something about him, but I can't remember what it was, whether he was associated with a movie or something. I remember his name, though.
Window. And as my mother passed me, I was screaming, and she didn't even hear me. So this thing just pulled me through the window.
John claims that these aliens took him aboard a UFO.
They just took me into the door, and I was just laid down onto my stomach looking out these windows. I do remember some sort of a scraping with a sort of long, rounded object, sort of like a knife, scraping me or scratching me with it, trying to, like,
these
hurt me
drawings
or
are
something. I woke up the next morning.
Scary as hell.
Like it was a dream, only though I knew it wasn't a dream.
Skeptics claim that abduction stories are the product of a child's active imagination, but...
Do you think it's active imagination, or do you think it's like something bad happened to this kid and he's like... his brain is like protecting itself by projecting what happened onto this like UFO experience, you know what I mean?
Bud Hopkins has developed an elaborate system of tests to prove these skeptics wrong.
I developed the Hopkins image recognition test a number of years ago because I felt that a projective test based on simple images and checking the child's response would be a very viable way of looking into their experiences. So I show these children first Santa Claus, and we go through Batman and clowns and police and so on. When we come to the alien out of 10 pictures, which is very neutral, we just listen to what the child says, how the child responds. I have seen a child absolutely fold up in tears, hide herself in her father's lap crying, "I don't want that man in my dreams. That's the man who takes me away."
Fortunately, these traumatized and bewildered families have the support of concerned experts. Newport Beach, California is the home of Dr. Deborah Trincala. She specializes in the counseling of alien abductees.
I think it's very important that we look at children who've had anomalous...
What does that mean exactly, pastoral psychologist? So she's like religious or...
experiences in the following way. We need to listen to them. We need to understand that from their world, they don't have a handle on what's happened. They need to have a sense of control over their lives to the degree that they can handle that. That's part of their development. And so we have to be attentive to that need.
If these encounters are the results of some bizarre alien experiment, why are our children being targeted? And when these children grow up, how will the experiment be concluded? All we and they can do is wait.
Now, Sandra, you'll have to admit that most children have pretty active imaginations, and you put that together with all the TV they watch.
John, that may be true to some degree, but it's wrong to assume that children would go out of their way to...
What he just assumed about these kids was wrong.
Make these kinds of stories up. In fact, joining us tonight are 3 cases in point. They are members of the UFO Investigators and Other Strange Phenomenon Club, all the way from Virginia. They are Wesley Frank, Jonathan Pine, and Kevin Trobaugh. Welcome.
Look, this guy's like, these kids are full of shit. And she's like, well, actually, the kids are here with us today. Come on out, kids.
Those children sighted a UFO, told their friends at school, and were ridiculed. They were laughed at. Do you guys believe in UFOs?
Oh, yeah.
If you do see a UFO, what do you do as investigators?
We ask people of that area where we saw it if they saw the same thing.
What do you say to kids who say, oh, you're making it all up? Kevin?
Well, maybe they don't believe in UFOs, but we do, and we think we saw one. So, like, we tell them, and if they don't believe us, they don't believe us.
Right. What about you, Wesley?
If I believe there's, like, UFOs and stuff, then that's all that matters to me.
Well, keep looking at the skies. We're glad that you care, and good luck with your investigations.
My kid has never bullshitted me about a UFO. Never.
Be right back.
Coming up next.
Nobody really knows why these extraterrestrials are here.
Has an attempt to contact alien intelligence led to a close encounter with a UFO?
It was stationary and it was sending out the primary colors that had just
You
been
guys
sent
are
out by
terrible.
the laser.
Have you ever wondered what you would do if you saw a UFO? Would you have the presence of mind to observe closely, or would you take off in the opposite direction?
Well, the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial
I
Intelligence
didn't take the cookie, it was aliens.
knows what they would do. Their motto could be taken from the
And I don't care if anybody believes me or not. I believe, and that's all that matters. I'm going to stick with this all the way till I get on a syndicated TV show.
Scouts. Be prepared.
Flying saucers have invaded our planet. Washington, London, Paris, Moscow are key targets. The whole world is under attack.
In the 1950s,
Hell yeah.
visitors from outer space had a straightforward agenda: mass destruction, planetary enslavement, and the equal opportunity employment of nasty...
Interplanetary enslavement is the goal of this prison planet agenda.
death rays. But yesterday's bug-eyed monsters are
What?
today's extraterrestrials. And eyewitnesses believe that the day of alien contact is drawing near. If it
Yesterday's
already
bug-eyed
hasn't occurred.
monsters?
I'm convinced that there is a small faction within our
What would I do if I saw him? Fight him.
government that has
No, I don't
been
know.
grappling for nearly 50 years.
I mean, it depends. If I just saw one and then it flew away, like, I don't know, I just go about my business. Like, if they tried to fuck with me or whatever, then I'd have to do whatever, but they'd probably have, like, you know, disintegration rays or some shit like that. So, but yeah, I guess it depends on what happened.
with the problem of eventual disclosures of alien contact on this planet. I think they've been in possession of information that has convinced them that aliens or non-human intelligence has reached this planet quite some time ago.
Dr. Stephen Greer isn't waiting for the government
Depends
to
what
issue
kind
him
of
an
sample they wanted.
extraterrestrial passport. He is the head of the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or CSETI. This organization is getting ready for an event they feel is inevitable: the day we first make contact.
Preparing people for this kind of contact, the human dimension is the most difficult one. We were in England in 1992, and we were able to vector one of these objects. It was a large 150-foot diameter disc with a dome or cupola on top. You know, God is my witness, this is an extraordinary event. But when you've locked on, you have signaled to it, it has signaled back, it's changed course, and it's coming in towards you. This is when you realize that, my God, they see us, and they're coming.
Dr. Greer founded CSETI in 1990. Over the years, they have refined their stated mission.
Meditation.
Trying to establish contact with the life forms on board these objects. And this is very important. CSETI really isn't interested in the UFOs. We're interested in the occupants or the intelligence or the beings behind the UFOs.
All of CSETI's efforts have one ultimate intention:
Try to get one to land and eventually, if possible, to get a boarding party on board one of these objects.
Encounters asked CSETI if they would take us on one of their UFO expeditions, and they agreed. Before we left, we met with their team of human ambassadors.
I mean, no matter what, if a like interplanetary visitor found you, they would have to be way, way, way more advanced than us to have the technology to get to us. So I think you could trust that it would be probably an upgrade if they offered to take you with them. But then there'd be, what if they didn't have Boyd there?
We're real excited about it. Just be careful.
She's part of the boarding party.
Caroline O'Patry is excited. She believes there is a chance she will make direct contact with extraterrestrials, but she plans on taking things one step at a time.
The game plan is, should there be a sighting and should we be locked on in such a way that the ETI would choose to land and make contact with us, we would be ready to do so.
I guess I should take my own flashlight just in case. And I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It's so hot now, but I probably better take my heavy
This
coat.
lady looks like she's going to like stay in the forest, and this lady's dressed for like formal,
Here's
like a
aside and
dinner
approach
party.
contact with an open mind.
Whatever you fear or revere, you draw to you. So I don't want to come from fear.
That's what what I do. Go Hogs. I'm marking people for the aliens. They want me to find the activated individuals. So until they can come pick them up, I've got to keep an eye on them.
Be peaceful. You will attract peaceful entities. And what's exciting about CSETI to me is this repeated philosophy of non-hostility, of being diplomats for peace, of being a liaison with humankind and extraterrestrial.
She's trying to get clapped by an alien.
Come on, you
for
guys,
sure.
we gotta hurry.
Yeah, it's better to be there. Going to San Fernando Valley? Is that where it is?
No, Topanga Canyon.
Am I emotionally prepared to go on board a UFO? I don't know. I like to think that I am. But then again, I know, because of the people I've talked to, that seeing a UFO is not always fun. It's scary. For so long, I had thought that UFOs weren't real. I thought they were figments of people's imagination.
I don't blame you.
That for me to suddenly reverse my opinions caused literally a breakdown in my whole system of beliefs. And it wasn't fun. I eventually had to face the fact that UFOs were here.
Nobody really knows why these extraterrestrials are here. However, there's not a scintilla of evidence.
Good word, scintilla.
That their net motives for being here are hostile or oriented towards harming life on this planet.
We are now, I think, in the process of looking at the world differently. We're beginning to see everything interconnected. And that's not just on this earth, it's the whole universe.
What a weird smile to have while you're driving.
CSETI wants the government to release all information about alien encounters.
The idea behind Project Starlight is to brief leaders in society and to encourage them
Hey, Gorbachev.
Try to bring out the definitive evidence which we believe exists and to finally confirm the fact that we have detected extraterrestrial life forms.
Why would the government cover up alien contact? I think they're coming from a mentality that
Oh, this guy means business here. Holy shit.
arose in the mid-40s when we actually believed we were being invaded from space. We couldn't handle the technology we were seeing, that the government would try to keep
Oh, come on. Scintilla's a great word.
secret until they could understand the nature of their challenge. And today, we have 50 years of momentum that's very hard to break.
What we do not have is
Wow, get a look at this hair.
Anyone in an important position in government saying the U.S. government has this knowledge and we're officially declaring an interest in this and want to share this with the public. Several of us are urging the Clinton administration to review that policy.
Meanwhile, emotions were high as we reached our contact site.
God, this is a great location. How did you happen to choose it?
It's an open area, meaning that you have good visibility of the sky. And in addition to that, we've got some good areas where we can land out, put out landing beacons.
What about this side right here? Go back a little bit.
Closest we can get to a circle and kind of do a briefing here. Or a entry log on this. This is dictation at Topanga State Park in Los Angeles County. We want to also put all of our names and contact numbers for who you can have contacted in the microcassette recorder for the documentation person.
Preston Dennett, contact Christine Dennett. Dr. Joe Burks, contact Yael Burks.
Dixie Sullivan, contact my office.
We want to establish...
Scintilla is like the size of American Dream's manhood during the when he put meth in his shaft hole, according to It's Me. I would say that's a scintilla.
The various positions. We want to number off so that in the event that there is a landing, we know in what order we'll approach the craft. So I'll be boarding party member number 1. Joe, you want to be number 2? Dixie?
3.
The last thing we want to do at this point is to determine where the landing site should be in the event that we're able to vector a craft in at close range.
Oh boy.
Everyone has arrived here at Topanga Canyon, and there's a real sense of excitement in the air. The CSETI members are preparing their laser lights, audio equipment, telescopes, and binoculars, and in a few minutes, we'll start signaling. If we're lucky, something out there just may answer our call.
So what we're going to do is project these tones with a radio transceiver. Please put out the landing strobes.
I like to say whisper as like a measurement when I do my taste tests.
We waited for hours, sending out tones and laser light beacons into the darkness.
Just a whisper.
Then suddenly, someone spotted a strange light. But before we could turn on our camera, it disappeared.
Of course.
But moments later, it reappeared on the horizon.
Oh, there it is again. It's back again. There it is again. Very bright colors, the same one, the same red and green the laser was putting out. Oh my. This is no airplane. At 9:45, we have an object about 5 degrees above the ridge in the west that was probably out over the Pacific Ocean. It was stationary, and it was sending out the primary colors that had just been sent out by the laser. Now we've got a commercial jet pilot with us, and this is very unusual.
So did we or did we not see something?
Yeah, that was.
And how rare is that?
It happens virtually every time we go out if we're doing the right stuff.
Preston, did we have a close encounter tonight?
I think we may have. No, this sort of thing has happened before.
It's interesting.
And of course, we prefer to call them unknowns, if we're up close in a metallic ship. That would be a different story. But nevertheless, it's exciting, and I'm pleased.
This is your first time? What was it?
This is my first time with this. Oh, it's excellent. I want to stay here all night. I don't want to leave. I want to see what that was over there.
We saw something tonight. We don't know what it was, but as long as human beings claim to be meeting extraterrestrials, CSETI will be trying to make contact.
Most of us already know that we're not alone in the universe. This is simply a step further where we're saying, not only are we not alone, but those life forms that may be out there, a few of them have made their way into our corner of the universe.
Sandra, I am very...
What's up, Randy? Crisis actors?
Very curious. Do you really think you saw a UFO?
Well, John, I saw something flying and nobody can identify it, so I guess you'd have to say I did see a UFO. Unfortunately, the videotape really didn't do our encounter justice.
Our analysis of this intriguing footage will continue, and Encounters will be back in a moment.
Coming up, during a search for a ghostly apparition, a frightening sound is captured on tape that even the experts can't explain. Is this proof of contact with the other side?
There are things beyond this. There are other dimensions.
An important part of the American dream is that day when you move into your new house. But to Jim Barisiak, that dream swiftly turned into a nightmare. According to Jim, a Ouija board gave him a frightening message. His new home was inhabited by ghosts who wanted the house for themselves. Now, Jim didn't need a game board to tell him that he needed help. Encounters was there when that help arrived. Gardner, Massachusetts, outwardly an unlikely place.
Back in New England again.
To investigate an active haunting. But Andrew Nichols has learned that the supernatural is where you find it. Nichols is a skeptical scientist and a trusting parapsychologist. To him, a haunted house is a laboratory.
I believe that haunting phenomena can be measured using electromagnetic detection devices under...
I don't know about Andrew Nichols, parapsychologist. He doesn't look very trustworthy. He looks like somebody tried to clone like middle-aged Bill Watts.
certain circumstances, but whether or not it actually represents surviving soul after death, I don't know.
Andrew's reputation is at stake with every investigation. To screen out unreliable witnesses, he first administers psychological exams in order to determine their reliability.
The second questionnaire we have is an inventory of childhood imaginings, which basically is to determine how fantasy...
Excuse me, an inventory of childhood imaginings?
...prone you are, because that's
Andrew's
childhood the second questionnaire we have is an inventory of childhood imaginings, which basically is to determine how fantasy prone you are, because that's...
Andrew's test showed that Jim was firmly grounded in reality.
Michael Dukakis.
Show me some of the areas where you've experienced the phenomenon in the house.
After Andrew took initial measurements on his own, homeowner Jim Barisiak, who had purchased the house 8 months earlier, gave him a tour.
You can see right now.
It all began shortly after Jim moved into this huge Tudor house. Built in 1893, it stood next to a previously well-traveled
Tudor? That would probably be ATF's favorite kind of architecture.
Frontier trail.
When we first moved in, things happened very quickly. And I think they were just signs showing us that they were here. You would hear what sounded like crystal hitting the floor, the hardwood floor, and just shattering all over. Yet when you turned around, there was nothing.
After midnight, Jim would hear other inexplicable sounds echoing through the house.
Usually around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you will hear someone walking up and down the main stairway. We have heard a baby crying. I've heard a woman laughing, a dog, which is odd considering I have 2 cats. The strange things that have happened in this room mainly took place last weekend. I was away on a trip, and when I came back and came into the bedroom...
Did he choose the decor?
I noticed that the statues, which had belonged to my mother, were all face down on the floor. None of them were chipped, none were broken. They were just placed face down on the floor.
Jim told Andy that months earlier, he decided to try to directly communicate with the apparent ghostly occupants of his home. He decided to use a Ouija board.
Works by subliminal motions of the muscle system and involuntary motions. So the person themselves are actually moving the planchette or the pointer across the board. But it still is an interesting psychic tool because our subconscious or unconscious minds are more closely tuned to psychic phenomena.
Right from the beginning, we never had any problem with communicating. It was very strong for us. It gave us specifics.
My man, that's a child's board game.
The letters and numbers on the board told Jim an ancient story of treachery and murder.
It took place in 1720.
Give me a break.
They were traveling from Quebec City to Boston on what was at one time an Indian trail, and they had stopped on the property overnight to rest. They built a campfire and were around the campfire when they were robbed and...
John Stockton, yeah. I like, oh, look at this, they're being robbed.
Eventually murdered.
Channeled through the Ouija board, the spirits told Jim that they had been buried in front of the...
Murdered.
Channeled through the...
This Western trad is like, you gonna be broke now?
Ouija board, the spirits told Jim that they had been buried in front of the house.
They wished to be taken back to Quebec City, where they could rest in peace. I want to help them. And I think in helping them, I'll help myself. Because then the house will be mine.
Okay.
Praying that he could find their remains, Jim and a couple of friends searched for the bones. But they found nothing. Desperate, Jim went looking...
Just digging completely at random in the yard, and he's like, oh, well, the first time I didn't find anything. Oh, well. Why would he do this? And why would you do it at night? What is just for the TV show?
For outside help. That help arrived with Andrew Nichols. Andrew continued his electromagnetic search for some hard facts, and his meters uncovered the kinds of phenomena often associated with hauntings.
I think some of the fields that we've discovered in this house are extremely significant, particularly the one at the base of the stairs, which was a mobile field. It actually was a moving electromagnetic field, and that cannot be explained by any
yeah, exactly. Why dig at night?
Normal environmental cause that I'm aware of.
At this point in the story, Encounters became directly involved in this electronic gathering of evidence. During a routine screening of the tapes containing Andrew's interview, we noticed something that had gone unnoticed by the 5 people who were present at the time. A strange growl that appeared between...
Sounds like that sound. Remember they recreated the Mummy's vocal cords and everything and then had it make a sound, and that was the sound it made, like, ugh!
Interview questions. We couldn't explain how it got there, so we sent the tape out for analysis. Encounters asked audio specialist Tom Borton to use computers and waveform monitors to compare the growl to a variety of samples.
Hold on. I've got to see it. Oh, here we go.
Scientists were able to mimic Nessie Amun's voice by recreating his mouth and vocal cords with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound. It allowed them to produce with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound. A single sound.
Oh, what a waste of time.
First, he ruled out the possibility that it was human. Next, he eliminated any known animal as the source. That narrowed down the possible explanation to something with no explanation.
There's no way of being able to make an exact analysis and say, yes, this is, definitely a spirit, but not being human, not being animal, not being machine, not looking like any of those. It's odd, very peculiar.
I wonder if they could recreate his scream from his vocal cords.
What was this mysterious growl?
And the mummy made one sound.
Did we accidentally capture a ghost on audio tape? Our tests will continue. Meanwhile, thanks to Jim Barisiak, Andrew Nichols is one step closer to uncovering the truth about the supernatural.
In my opinion, based on the limited amount of time I've had, I do think that this would qualify as being a genuine haunting. I think that all this is not something that's supernatural. It's an aspect of nature that we just don't understand yet.
This guy looks like the guy, you guys might not be familiar with it, but that's like a TikTok lolcow family. Where the dad and the daughter have a weird relationship. They're called the daddy-daughter dream team. That's what this guy kind of looks like.
And then eventually, through parapsychology, these phenomena will be brought within the realm of mainstream science, and we will understand it.
The lesson that I'm learning here is
He's like, listen, sometimes you can't take the shot yourself. You just got to pass it off and let the mailman deliver.
This isn't all of it. This isn't our total reason for being. This isn't our total existence. There are things beyond this. There are other dimensions. There are other times. And we shouldn't fear death.
Other than that strange growl, there's really little hard evidence that ghosts haunt Jim Barisiak's house. But whether or not we believe the Ouija board story, Jim Barisiak hopes that his ghostly tenants have at last found peace. Encounters will be right back.
If you would like to contact us here at Encounters, write to Encounters.
You got it. South to West. Surprisingly, they get a lot more coverage than Ben and Grace.
P.O. Box 36B47.
That's how I found Shira originally, was she covered the daddy-daughter dream team.
Los Angeles, California, 90036. To contact us by phone, call 213-525-1UFO. That's 213-525-1836. Or to contact us online, visit the Encounters forum on CompuServe by typing Go Encounters or the following number.
I don't think I am.
And thank you for your interest in Encounters.
It's been said that the finite mind cannot hope to understand the infinite. The stories we've seen this evening illustrate the truth in that saying. And we hope that we've given you something.
So instead of having the consistent catchphrase at the end, sounds like he's going to be rotating.
Think about and help you come closer to unraveling the hidden truth. I'm John Marshall.
Good night.
Tuesday, October 25th, the Alien Nation saga
Oh,
continues.
wow. All right, let's watch one more.
Hello, I'm John Marshall. Welcome to Encounters, the Hidden Truth. One of the most intriguing and mysterious alien encounters took place in Australia. A pilot vanished after reporting a UFO. No trace of him nor his aircraft has ever been found. Recently, the investigation was reopened. The reason? The UFO may have been caught in the act, captured on audio tape
He seems
and film.
skeptical, heavily skeptical, but reasonable.
It was a beautiful clear
He also is no bullshit. He told those kids straight to their face they were full of shit. And they didn't really have anything to contradict that.
day for flying when 20-year-old Frederick Valenti
Quite frankly, those children looked foolish when they were on the show.
took off from Melbourne to King Island. He was looking forward to logging some nighttime flying hours. But as the sun was setting, he was approached by an unidentified flying object. In constant radio contact with an air traffic controller, Valentich described a metallic object with bright green and white lights that flew around him at tremendous speeds. At the end of the conversation, he said, "It's not an aircraft." These were the last words ever heard from Freddie Valentich. No trace of him nor his plane has ever been found.
The disappearance of Frederick Valentich is certainly one of the great mysteries since I've been working with the Air Force for the last 18 years.
You know.
And of all the
brother of Doug Llewellyn, the courtroom reporter on the People's Court.
Incidents that have been reported through my office, this is the one that has the greatest intrigue attached to it. I simply don't know what happened to Frederick Valentich.
Some suggest the incident was staged, that Frederick had sold the plane and run off with the money. But his friends and family feel this scenario is impossible.
Knowing my son, how happy he was to be at the stage that he was with his flying career, I find it very difficult to believe it. I got a feeling that he definitely have an interference with another object, whether it was extraterrestrial or terrestrial, it remains to be seen in the future.
He was known as a stable young man. He didn't appear to have any great worries at that particular time. He was a member of the Air Training Corps and well respected. His performance was well known by his instructors. It would require somebody with a great deal of imagination.
I'm assuming you guys like this, but you want encounters. Look at this look on his face. You want encounters to return, right?
And guile to go and set up a disappearance like that. And I don't think it's consistent with Valentich's character.
The air traffic controller who last spoke to Frederick does not believe it was a hoax either.
I think his transmissions sounded genuine.
Judge Wagner,
it was almost like I could picture him sitting in the aeroplane looking for this thing. His transmissions were interrupted, and at the stages where he was actually looking for the UFO or the other aircraft, he wasn't able to speak to me as he was searching for it. Towards the end, I distinctly got the impression that it probably wasn't an aircraft, it was something else.
Frederick's flight plan took him along the coast for several miles before turning south toward King Island. It was at that point that he established radio contact with air traffic control.
I like it. I feel like it's a good, just a super chill, kind of content. And then also, it lets us stretch out sightings a little bit more. That way we don't just end sightings and move on to this. This way we can kind of, can let them both stay in the ecosystem for a while together, drag out sightings a little bit longer.
After he allegedly spotted the UFO.
He requested...
sightings, I think, will work really well. Remember when we did, the VHS things where it's, a bunch of different stuff? I just think, even after sightings is over, it would be fun just to put a random sightings episode into one of those lo-fi or VHS retro day playlists.
If there was any large military aircraft operating, and I advised him there was no other traffic other than himself operating in the area.
This is a recreated transcription of Frederick's last conversation.
Delta Sierra Juliet, what type of aircraft is it?
Delta Sierra Juliet. I cannot affirm. It is
Full, bright, it seems like landing lights. Delta Sierra Juliet. This is Delta Sierra Juliet. The aircraft has just passed over me at least 1,000 feet above. Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. And it is a large aircraft, confirmed?
Because we really don't have that much, or that many sightings episodes left.
Due to the speed it's traveling, is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity? Delta Sierra Juliet, no known traffic in the vicinity. Melbourne, it's approaching now from due east toward me. Delta Sierra Juliet.
Whoa, Roby SpaceX?
Delta Sierra Juliet. It seems to me that he's playing some sort of game. He's flying over me 2 to 3 times at speeds I could not identify.
Frederick, as a member of the Air Training Corps, would have been very familiar with military aircraft such as the Mirage at that time, the F-111, but he asked twice on the transcript whether there was military aircraft in the vicinity. Whether he thought there was some new aircraft that we had up in the sky at that time, I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I asked him to try and identify.
That was the era, though. Like, Fox had a really interesting programming lineup around this time.
The aircraft, and he mentioned that he couldn't because it was flying so fast.
Sightings, X-Files. It was a real... No, I'm thinking of Animal Planet. It had the one that had all the cryptids on it. Remember, we've tried to watch that like 3 times. I keep forgetting that it won't let me, and it always shuts the stream down.
At one stage, he was orbiting. He was circling in the one position, and he mentioned that the other craft was holding formation on top of him, and he was able to describe it as being silver. Shiny silver in colour with a green light and also a white light. And as I said, at one stage it disappeared.
Delta Sierra Juliet, confirmed the aircraft just vanished. Say again? Delta Sierra Juliet, is the aircraft still with you? Delta Sierra Juliet. It's now approaching from the southwest. Delta Sierra Juliet. Delta Sierra Juliet, the engine is rough idling. I got it set at 23, 24, and the thing is coughing. Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. What are your intentions? My intentions are to go to King Island. Melbourne, the strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again.
Hovering.
It's hovering and it's not an aircraft. Delta Sierra Juliet. Delta Sierra Juliet, Melbourne. Delta Sierra Juliet, madam. Delta Sierra Juliet. Delta Sierra Juliet.
I think that he actually saw something, and I feel that he was genuine, and what actually happened will always be a mystery, I think.
And there are other mysteries.
Oh, I love
that
this
tape
room.
Of the conversation between...
Oh, it's so cool. Look at all just this junk. That's so cool, man. This is like quintessential 90s, but it's not like the way the 90s is marketed, you know? It's just so cool, all the old junky fucking tech.
Valentage and the
Just a
aircraft
reminder, every day, one step closer to the grave.
The controller was analyzed by a specialist in pilot UFO sightings, Dr. Richard Haynes. He investigated the case in detail and discovered some inconsistencies in the tape itself.
The tape ends rather mysteriously. There is a sound at the end of the tape which I describe as a metallic sound, which lasts, interestingly, 14 seconds long. But I found that there's a little gap, pretty much in the middle.
Just a little gap.
And a frequency is occurring up to the gap and not,
low capacity,
not afterward. And my hunch is that somebody has cut something out of the middle of that.
Who could have tampered with this evidence? Many believe the military is somehow involved in a cover-up.
I mean, let me put it this way. I'm now the Senior Public Relations Officer in Canberra. I work directly for the Chief of the Air Staff. I work with all our senior intelligence people. I have access to highly classified information. And in my opinion, there's been absolutely no cover-up.
Cover-up or not, no one, including the Air Force, is willing to rule out the possible involvement of a UFO.
The idea that Frederick was abducted by a UFO
I'll be right back. I gotta clean my hitter.
is, in some ways, I suppose, in the realms of science fantasy. But really, in this sort of situation, you can't rule out anything. We simply don't know.
For those who have been investigating the disappearance of Frederick Valentich, the mystery continues. But for Frederick's father, hope is eternal.
Coming to face with my son's disappearance would be to really know what really happened to him. It's like in a bad dream going through, and we wake up in the morning to realize it's real.
Andy Reid, like the coach?
I'd like to see him back. That he comes back as he was, perhaps, with...
this guy knows wine and interior decoration.
There are just 3 possible explanations for what happened to Frederick Valentich. He crashed, faked his disappearance, or was abducted by a UFO.
Okay.
But if he crashed, where was the wreckage? If he faked his disappearance, why invent a cover story guaranteed to make headlines? Ironically, the most logical explanation seems to be the one that's the hardest to believe. Encounters will be right back.
Coming up next, Russell Rhodes witnesses an actual exorcism.
Let's go!
You're coming up now.
Wow, real exorcism.
Coming out, you snake, you serpent of evil.
And uncovers the horrifying...
Come out from her, you serpent, you snake of evil.
True story behind the movie The Exorcist.
And the bed started going up and down.
Encounters, the hidden truth.
I'm so
Horror
hyped
fiction
for this one.
has done much to popularize and discredit the supernatural, but occasionally that fiction has its origins in reality.
One of the most enduring works of modern horror is The Exorcist, the best-selling novel that was transformed into an equally popular movie in 1973. What most people don't know is that The Exorcist wasn't completely fictional. In many ways, it was a documentary.
It's an exorcism that would be recognized by someone in 1500 or 1300. There is a thread that runs through the hundreds of years of records about exorcisms that absolutely touches this one.
I like those like chants that the Catholics do, you know what I mean?
It was the first night
Let me
I
look
was
one
there. A vial of holy water went flying across the room from the top of a dresser and hit the wall on the other side.
Catholic chants.
These men aren't describing a movie. They are describing what actually happened in a St. Louis hospital in 1949.
There'd be like claw marks on his arms and on his chest and that sort of thing. Sometimes words would appear, like one word that appeared was hell. And I was sitting there as close as you and I are, and there was no way in the world that he could ever, make these marks without me being aware of it.
For years, the story that inspired The Exorcist was never officially acknowledged by the Catholic Church, but author Tom Allen found the events documented in a secret diary.
I realized I had the first documentation of
I was trying to look some up, but I don't know if these are... The AI could be gaslighting me.
modern exorcism. The first time I read it, my hands were shaking. I was really... my heart was pounding. I just felt that I was reading something extraordinarily real. And that was written in such a way that it wasn't designed to spook you.
No,
It was
I don't
designed
like
to
they need
report
throat
something.
singing.
It
I
all
just
began
like
in
it
the
when they do like the thing, like the guy, the little Pope man, the Pope Jr., he tells them he says something and then they repeat it back to him and it's
Working class
sounds real sinister.
Washington, D.C. suburb of Mount Rainier. A 13-year-old boy was the center of what appeared to be violent psychic activity. His case was taken up by a
Look at
Catholic
this
priest.
guy.
He was ordered to begin an exorcism. It was a disaster.
The kid reaches under the bed and works loose a piece of the inner spring. And as the priest starts the exorcism, he slashes the priest from his shoulder to
It's
his
not
wrist.
really singing. It's just you know what I mean? It's just what it's hard for me to describe it.
Producing a wound that it takes 100 stitches to sew up, and the priest is out of it
Well, this
for
looks like a
several months
comedy.
with a nervous breakdown.
Terrified, the family took their boy to a St. Louis hospital where the case was assigned to a Jesuit priest, Father William S. Bawden. He enlisted the help of a young Jesuit student and athlete by the name of Walter Halloran.
Well, I didn't know it was exorcism until I started hearing the prayers that Father Bawden was saying. And I thought, you know, this is an exorcism.
Halloran is one of only 2 people alive today who were present at the exorcism, and the only one willing to talk about it.
And that first night, I was kneeling at the foot of the bed, and the bed started going up and down. And that kind of piqued my interest for a while.
Yeah, but it's not even really chanting. It's more of just like, I don't know. I know it sounds like the same thing, but like rhythmic speaking.
He said, don't worry about it. And he said, just keep on, you know, following along with the prayers. So that's what I did.
Only use me, Blade.
The exorcism on the boy continued for more than 6 weeks.
When that one guy's trying to pick him up off the floor, whenever he crashes out, is how Blade acts.
More violent, and he was covered in scratches and sores. Then the tide began to turn.
The boy is in the room in the hospital, and there's the sound of what everybody described as a gunshot, like a shotgun going off. It's heard all over the hospital, and many people associate it with the boy, and they...
Here's over an hour of exorcist-approved chants of deliverance.
Rush up to the room, and he is sitting up in bed with a big smile on his face.
And then suddenly the exorcism was over. It was completed. And
here's one called 1 Hour of Chad, Orthodox Chants to Redeem Your Soul.
You know, as far as you could possibly see, he wasn't suffering any kind of being under the power of the devil or whatever you want to call it. And then he went on to lead a very normal life. And he has no recollection whatsoever of anything that took place.
It was over. The priest and attendants were asked to remain quiet about what they had witnessed.
I still think about it a great deal. I think about it constantly. The idea that a demon is in the boy.
You replied on Discord?
And that this brave priest got that demon out of the boy. To me, possibly gets to be the best metaphor explanation.
The incident was soon forgotten until the diary was discovered. But today, other nightmares are beginning.
Oh, you're coming up now. That's right, you cannot stay. You're coming up now. You're coming out, you snake, you serpent of evil. You're bound.
When we return, our in-depth investigation continues with a frightening real.
Okay, apparently I misspoke about Bethadone's lighter collection, and it is not, in fact, disposable. They're refillable, so there you go.
Life exorcism.
You're bound off her spinal cord now in the name of Jesus, and you leave. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Could they actually be possessed? Find out next.
In applied psychology, we decided to find out.
Recently in Tucson, Arizona, encounters attended an exorcism session.
This guy gonna hit a demon with a tennis racket.
And our cameras documented a ritual unchanged since medieval times.
And you're cast out in Jesus' holy name.
Jesus.
Praise Jesus. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Well, I hate to tell you this, ATF media, but more people in the Fusion Studios audience care about Bethadone than they do Hee Haw. She officially beat Hee Haw in ratings. And that video's been up for a month now, and Bethadone's already passed it with her latest episode. So, I mean,
praise you, Jesus.
Numbers don't lie.
You, Lord Jesus.
In a room in the back of this church, an exorcism is taking place. The man performing it believes he has the power.
The church said that it would appear with the condition that it would remain anonymous.
God on his side. But this minister no longer has the support of the Lutheran Church.
Is it just going to keep revealing words? Is this like a game show?
And this same man, a counseling psychologist, no longer has a license to practice. Yet this exorcist believes he has been called by God to do what he has to do.
Pray.
Yes, you did. You surpassed Hee Haw.
In the name of Jesus. And I just ask that Holy Spirit to flow up and down her spinal cord and spinal column to burn out.
It was close, but you've moved past him, and then you'll continue to over time as well.
Any demon that is attached itself.
Father.
Oh, you're coming up now. That's right. You cannot stay. You're coming up.
Well, people had the opportunity, and they turned out more for Methadone. She sold more tickets.
Now you're coming out, you snake, you serpent of evil. You're bound off her spinal.
Come out, you so-called white man. Be on like a snake. Why would I exorcise a snake? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Cord now in the name of Jesus, and you leave. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Yes, you cannot stay. You cannot stay.
Encounters was there as exorcist Ken Olson tried to cast out a demon that was allegedly possessing a young woman.
And he broke it and gave it to his disciples, saying, take and eat. This is my body given for you. Take and eat the body of Christ.
An IRL friend? Oh boy.
You'll see us taking communion, anointing with oil, and laying my hand on and praying for her continued healing.
He proceeds to call out the different demonic spirits. And normally I will cough them up. I can feel them leave.
I've never had to deal with a case of total possession where the whole personality, their mind, their emotions, their body is taken over under the control of a demon. In other words, there's no shouting, screaming.
Under control of a demon. In bed with a demon.
You know, theatrics.
Paige Ashton is another of Dr. Olson's patients. A victim of severe child abuse, Paige developed a multiple personality disorder.
In fact, the heathen outdrew hee-haw as well.
And spent years in and out of hospitals and therapy sessions. Now, Paige claims Ken Olson has found something that regular psychologists could not. A cure.
Traditional therapy wouldn't have healed me because we had to work with the spiritual realm. We had to have exorcism taking place, deliverances.
In fact, every psychiatrist I've talked to,
you're in bed and you're depressed. I'm in a chair
his or
and
her
I'm depressed.
Background religiously believes that exorcism works from a psychiatric standpoint, that it's a therapeutic method.
Recently, Ken Olson became embroiled in the controversy over the medical applications of these rituals after he treated an extremely violent 8-year-old boy and billed the state.
It's true, heathen. You delivered on the ratings. You passed hee-haw.
For the exorcism. Although the boy was pronounced cured, Olson's Arizona license to practice psychology was revoked.
Even the board of examiners, they all admitted it worked. The violence is gone in the boy.
Ken believes he sacrificed his livelihood for a principle.
You see, I could have
in the spiritual realm, yes,
played it very safe. I could have known what needed to be done to get rid of the demon, so the boy would no longer be violent. Or I could have collected my money.
Heathen, did you see the AI country song I made for you?
$90 an hour.
Wow.
Continue to see the boy until he went into long-term residential care. And knowing full well in my own heart that he'll probably be a mass murderer or kill somebody or himself when he grows up. Now, what's the ethical question?
If that person thinks that thing has gotten out of him, then that person is cured. And that's what exorcism does. It takes that thing out, whatever it is.
My mind is whole again. I'm not split anymore. I can think. I don't have confusion. I don't have seizures. I can read. I have a life back.
Dr. Olson is very persistent. He knows the process involved, that it's not just an overnight thing. And he's willing to work with me.
Who is harmed by these modern exorcisms? The patients or the reputations of conventional psychologists? The controversy and the exorcisms will continue.
Cannot stay. You are under the rule of the name Jesus Christ.
Personal demons is an expression used to describe forces that drive ordinary people into madness. Russell, could exorcism be just a way of getting rid of these demons?
John, it all depends on what you choose to believe. No matter what the explanation, any process
demons like alcoholism, addiction to shoplifting perfumes, parasocial relationships with streamers
can help these tormented people should be investigated seriously.
Encounters will return in a moment.
Coming up next, Sandra Pinckney teams with a psychic crime fighter whose visions have helped solve hundreds of murders.
She made a believer out of me.
I would watch that, ATF.
And now, has she sensed another killer?
I will never give up.
Find out when we return.
Has long been utilized as a not-so-secret weapon for law enforcement.
Believers in the supernatural hold them up as proof that psychics can be used to solve problems.
Yeah, a real priest would look forward to going toe-to-toe with a demon. Iron sharpens iron, you know. You gotta use your faith if you want to, you know, increase your whatever armor of God.
That conventional investigations simply cannot.
You know, that's true, but skeptics say that psychic detectives are frauds who have yet to conclusively solve any of their cases. Pennsylvania State Trooper Paul Wechter has 2 words to say to these
Imagine
skeptics.
him like rambling about exorcisms while he's on a shaky 2-hour walk.
Allison.
Retired State Trooper Paul Wechter spent over 25 years as a criminal investigator for the Pennsylvania State Police. Like most lawmen, he put little stock in psychics. That all changed after he called on Dorothy Allison to help find Deborah Klein, a girl who disappeared in 1976.
We went out to the girl's house, and Dorothy asked for the ring. She put it on her finger, left it on for a minute, took it back off, gave it to the mother, thanked her. In a dump, she's sitting upright, and there's something covering her, something.
Sorry about that. He's a very famous comedian, and when I made that joke, he cut my stream off, but I'm back now.
Over her head. And that is how I found her.
The Klein case made a believer out of Paul Wechter. A few years later, another missing person file crossed his desk. This one from a quiet little town on the edge of the Tuscarora Mountains. Every morning when he wakes up, he can think of only one thing: finding Debbie.
Sorry, it's running in the red for me right now. Hopefully it'll get back into the green. Sorry about that.
The day before she was abducted, Debbie came to my house, and we sat on the front porch in each other's arms.
Don't make fun of powerful comedians.
I asked her, I said, Deb, how are things? And she looked up at me and said, Dad, she said, there's one more thing I have to do, and then everything's going to be all right.
He'll never know what it was she had to do. The next day, Debbie's mother discovered that their daughter was gone.
At what point did you get alarmed?
When I came home from work that day, there was just a feeling that hit me in the stomach that I can't explain to you, that feeling I had. The dishes were still sitting in the sink. Her bed wasn't made. I knew something was wrong.
Well, Debbie Whitmer was the classic missing person, left home. No one heard from her. You do.
All right, so it has to be an OBS issue at this point because my internet's not showing any drops. I'm sorry, it keeps disconnecting.
The Rays remembered reading about Dorothy Allison. They asked the police to put them in touch with her.
I had never really paid too much attention to a psychic, but when Dorothy Allison called me on the phone 9 o'clock one night and told me things that only my daughter and myself were familiar with, she made a believer out of me real quick.
I watched a rabbit hole video about like a friend group that after one of the friends died, they started getting emails from the guy, and this was like a long time ago, but it was really weird. Like they were very like detailed things. I always wondered how that resolved. If anything ever else. Like the video I watched was kind of old, but I wonder whatever happened to that. It was really creepy.
6 years, I would say, I worked over 4,000 cases, and most of them were homicides.
I remember this lady from Sightings, I think.
Started out as missing persons, but
B. Arthur.
It was murders. They were all murdered.
The Rays had expected nothing, but Dorothy overwhelmed them with dozens of clues, images that flooded her mind, strange, disjointed pictures, numbers, vague odors, odd sounds. But what did they...
Vague odors? Okay. That's how they would know ATF was haunting.
Mean.
You would rack your brains. I'd go to bed at night, you know, like when she came up with the number 517, Sandra. I would go on Sundays. I'd spend my whole day going down back roads, house numbers, numbers on people's mailboxes, hunting this number. You know, for weeks I did this, but I couldn't find 517 anywhere.
Were the clues meaningless?
The vague odor of baked soul.
The family began to wonder, and then, overnight, Dorothy's visions became reality. Debbie's father stumbled onto an abandoned farm hidden away in a remote area outside town. As part of our investigation, we went back to the old farmhouse with him.
According to the many things that Dorothy gave me over the telephone the night that I talked with her to look for, we found so many of those items right here in this house.
Like?
Well, this telephone pole here, for example, had the number 517.
Baked soul.
And that was a number that Dorothy said we would find at the crime scene. And she also, at that time, said that there was a pair of boots. And right at the base of this pole, we found a pair of boots sitting.
And the number,
I got over here to the porch. Dorothy had mentioned grapevines, and this whole porch area was covered with a grape arbor. Good. I stepped in here.
In here?
And right here on the center of this floor, there was a bowling pin sitting that she had told us about. There was a child.
I see a bowling pin.
Child's doll baby head lying right here on the floor, and the child's baseball bat was over here.
How did you feel when you saw these?
Very controversial, true. I think needlessly. I think it's quite tasteful.
I know this is a place my daughter was killed.
And you still have those strong feelings right now?
Dorothy's accuracy was uncanny. Of the 25 specific clues she had given the Rays and the police, they found 24 at this farmhouse.
All the clues that Dorothy has told us have come true.
Yes, but there's none here that will even compare with what she told me on the phone that night. She said, I see a letter. She said, it's a letter of the alphabet. She said, I don't know what it is, but there's a letter involved. And she...
Excuse me? I don't know which one it is, but there's a letter of the alphabet involved. Talk about vague odors.
Said, I keep hearing the words, I kept it, I kept it. And as God is my witness, there was only two people in the world that knew anything about this, and that was my daughter and myself. And that happened the day before she was abducted. She was at my home, and a year prior to that, I had given her my high school jacket with the letter M. And she went to the car that day, pulled the letter out of the car and held it up and said, Dad, I kept it, I kept it.
Still, there was no sign of Debbie at the farmhouse, but a single clue remained.
I never said anything about whether or not your comment was tasteful or not. I just said I wasn't going to acknowledge it because we're watching the same show. I would have no way of knowing if they addressed crop dusting or not.
It led to an old limestone quarry in the town of Williamson.
And I didn't need to tell ATF because he saw you directly and responded to you directly.
I remember coming up here with the troopers and telling them how we got here is because I gave the name of Williamson. So this is what got us here. I knew it was a quarry. I was standing on top of that cliff there with the trooper and telling him that the body was in that quarry. And I said, you're going to find her in 3 days.
I just know the body is down in the quarry.
Dorothy was right. A lone scuba diver found a jawbone, and a medical examiner determined it was human. The state police then conducted an extensive 2-day underwater search and recovery operation. They turned up the partial skeleton of a young woman.
I feel, Sandra, that I have been convicted. I was convicted 13 years ago. I've been a prisoner. It's time someone else is a prisoner.
Dorothy Allison's determination to find Debbie's killer has never wavered. She has a message for him.
I'm going to come after you until I get you. I will never give up. You see, it's 13 years, killer. I haven't given up, and I won't. And I found many killers. You're the next one on my list.
Sandra, I'm unclear on one point. Were the bones in the lake positively identified as those of Debbie Whitmer?
John, I'd have to say yes, and then I'd have to say no, because the dental records were a match at first. Then, before a second, more conclusive test could be made, local police lost the bones. What's most important is that...
What?
Family knows their daughter is finally at rest.
No, how do they know that? What is this lady talking about? So they did a test that wasn't conclusive enough to where you could say, okay, this is definitive, we don't need another test. But before they could do the actual test, the police lost all the bones. And then this lady's like, well, at least we know now.
What's most important is the family knows their daughter is finally at rest.
And Encounters will be right back.
Coming up next, some incredible kids who believe they've lived past lives.
We've all lived many lifetimes.
Whether you believe in reincarnation or not, you'll be amazed by their stories.
One of these kids is going to be like, I feel a strong connection to Abel.
I know that I was a black soldier.
A what?
Amazed by their stories.
I know that I was a black soldier.
You'll be amazed by their stories.
I know that I was a black soldier.
Reincarnation's not a theory, it's a vital part of the beliefs of millions of people around the world. But here in the West, we do remain skeptical.
However, Carol and Steve Bowman are an exception. They believe that both of their children have lived out a past life, and they're convinced that this experience threatens the present. Here's our story.
I remember seeing my hometown and my wife. My town, it's a dirt road. It's very small, maybe only...
He was like Zeus or something in a past life, McHenry.
15 buildings and the whole thing.
I can look down and see my body, but I can't see my face. I'm in that person. It was a long time ago, probably about 100 years.
When they come up with names and dates and speak foreign languages, when you see this happen 500 times, 1,000 times, the weight of the evidence is so huge. And the weight of the evidence against it is belief. That's it. There is no data against it.
Reincarnation. What happens when we die? And are we reborn into another life? When a child describes a past life, it's remarkable. But when two
this is a great shot.
In the same
I love this shot. This is perfect news reporter shot.
Family recall past lives, and we found two who did. It's absolutely astonishing. Chase and Sarah Bowman were just 5 and 7 years old when their mother discovered that they both suffered from unexplainable phobias. For Chase, it began with an hysterical fear of fireworks.
I remember becoming very scared of the sound that came from the fireworks. It triggered something, hearing those sounds.
And Sarah was terrified by fire.
I was obsessed with fire safety. It was haunting me. I had a little bag filled with my dolls under my bed, all my favorite dolls. And so that if there was a fire, I could grab my bag and make a quick escape.
Chase's terror increased until his mother, Carol, finally took him to see a hypnotherapist. It was then that Chase gave his mom the surprise of her life.
He simply said to Chase, sit on your mom's lap, close your eyes, and tell me what you see when you hear the loud noises that frighten you. And immediately Chase went into this story.
There's a picture in my mind of a man holding a gun in a battlefield. And I am shooting this gun with a point on the end. I know that I was a black soldier in the Civil War. It's very confusing. It's chaos. I'm shot in my right wrist. Then a friend of mine in my regiment drags me over to a field hospital, risking his life. It's like a cloth tent with poles on it. I see other
That's all the proof you need.
people in the hospital bleeding. It's gory.
As Chase sat on my lap telling us about this soldier, I think I went into a mild state of shock. I was very surprised. He'd never been interested in war toys or games. And he had absolutely no exposure to any movies about war. I knew that this was coming from him. It wasn't coming from anything he had learned on the outside.
Carol was astonished to discover
he looks like a sitcom dad.
That her son's fear of loud sounds was linked to the roar of a Civil War battlefield. And she had another shock in store when she took Sarah to see the same hypnotherapist.
I just closed my eyes and relaxed, and suddenly an image popped into my head. I'm lying in bed, and I wake up to the smell of smoke. I'm on the second story of an old farmhouse a long time ago. And my first reaction is the house is on fire. I run out of my room. There are flames everywhere. The house is going down in flames.
Skeptical psychologists.
Well, and isn't Grace supposed to be like the reborn version of Joan of Arc? And then, of course, Aphrodite Rose Starfire is the reincarnated goddess of love.
Argue that children's past life memories are either dreams or wishes and fantasies come to life. But they can't explain the startling accuracy of specific details, like those that appear in drawings made by Chase Bowman.
With the aid of an historian and some friends who were Civil War buffs, we found out that the drawings accurately matched photographs of a field hospital, and the cannon that he drew was actually a mortar that had been carried on a cart, just as he described it.
To psychiatrist Brian Weiss, cases like the Bowmans are commonplace. Weiss was once skeptical about past lives, but 20 years of treating patients who believe they've been
They are both uppity virgins.
reincarnated have changed his mind.
What I hear over and over again in my practice, that was me, that was my past life, I've been reincarnated. And I hear this from little children, I hear this from teenagers, I hear this from plumbers, attorneys, physicians, and they tell me the same
Very McHenry coded
thing. It's the power of the experience. That's what makes it different for them. And they say reincarnation.
9-year-old Drew Petropoulos is another child who believes he has lived before. 3 years ago, when he was undergoing psychotherapy, Drew began recalling 2 former lives. Now, for the first time, he's about to undergo a hypnotic regression to bring back these memories.
Okay, Drew, so you're going back now. You're going all the way back into that lifetime in Nevada. And now we have moved forward now to the very last few minutes that you're
Hi, I'm here with Barbara Lamb.
living in that lifetime. And I don't know how old you are, but probably
I died when I was 84.
84, okay.
I died in my sleep. I was just old age.
Some children's memories even go past the point of death.
That's the
With
way to
haunting
go.
clarity, Sarah can remember the moments just before her death, as well as those just after.
I run out of my room. The hall's engulfed in flames, and fire gets caught on my nightgown, and as I reach my parents' room, I'm trapped, and I can't find my family.
This guy's a
I'm
nut.
thinking, why didn't they save me? After I died, I could see my family waiting outside the house, watching it go down in flames, and see that they wanted to get me out, but they couldn't.
Despite the violent circumstances of the deaths they remember, the experience has actually helped both Sarah and Chase.
As I sat there listening to Sarah tell her story, my motherly instinct wanted me to jump out and save her. But by holding back and letting her re-experience the trauma of that death, she was able to release the fear connected with her lifetime as that girl. And after that, very soon after that, she was no longer afraid of fire.
I was a jazz musician in a former life.
In this case, after the regression, his fear
Mom, I need a drum set. I was a jazz musician in a former life.
of loud noises went away.
And so what is the lesson we can learn from these children who say they've had past lives? Well, we know they've benefited therapeutically, but more important, perhaps they possess a unique insight, an insight into the very meaning of life.
Now you've just left that body of the 84-year-old man whom you were, and notice what's happening now.
It was a really good feeling. I just felt safe, happy, really good. It felt like the clouds were just wrapping around me. It was like a thick blanket of warmth and love.
Doing this, it
Trisha
gave me a
Takanawa.
bigger picture that possibly this isn't the only chance you have, and that maybe you have other chances to solve problems and to accomplish something.
Well, that's kind of comforting to think about, that McHenry may not live to be, live to the age of 350 to 400 years old in his current form, but he's still got his next run as a bisexual female to look forward to.
I guess it makes me see death in a different way. Maybe it's not that terrifying, and you have more chances to live and more chances to know other people and do other things.
So you do believe in reincarnation?
I believe in reincarnation, and I believe in heaven, because I've been there.
Oh boy.
It's like, if I've been there, why wouldn't I believe it?
We'll be right back.
If you would like to contact us here at Encounters,
they told that guy, like, look, don't push back on this kid about heaven.
Write to Encounters, P.O. Box 36B47, Los Angeles, California, 90036. To contact us by phone, call 213-525-1UFO. That's 213-525-1836. Or to contact us online, visit the Encounters forum on CompuServe by typing Go Encounters or at the following number. And thank you for your interest in Encounters.
A new study presented at a medical conference shows that for the sore muscles occurring the day after a strenuous workout, Advil provides superior relief to extra-strength Tylenol. For next-day soreness, Advil just works better.
Oh, Advil. Yeah, they weren't... Sightings couldn't have cared less about what happened to that kid. Encounters is standing up for the rights of children.
Advanced medicine for pain. Have you ever borrowed a book from thousands of miles away? Watch the movie you wanted to. Science fiction. The minute you wanted to.
That's just wild that those were like, you know what I mean? Like that was a big deal.
Or sent someone a fax. From the beach. You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
I'm a smoker. My coworkers aren't. So from 9 to 5, I chew Wrigley's.
Boy, that really made me feel my mortality.
Everyone in the office can enjoy. So instead of smoking, I share my pure chewing satisfaction.
Oh, my son, the graduate. So, Nikki, any plans now that high school's over?
It's gonna work for me.
I hope we get like the closer from the host.
You know what I think you should do? Stay close to home. We got plenty of time to work. Take the first thing that comes along then.
Give Anthony a call.
So what are you gonna do? Well,
we're going to study nuclear propulsion, satellite navigation. In the Navy.
Oh, great.
Way to go, Nikki. For more information on the high-tech skills that can help launch a career, call 1-800-USA-NAVY.
Zima? What a terrible ad.
Tonight, Al needs $1,200 for a collector's item.
This is the first issue of Biggins.
First issue.
Jefferson's gonna give it to him, but there's one catch.
I need you to sleep with Marcy.
How low will Al go?
From my dad.
Married with Children.
That's my chest.
A brand new episode. Then, George finds an illegal package. Now he's one of America's most wanted.
Guess where I hid it?
Looks like you taped it to your chest.
The George Carlin Show, a brand new episode after Married
Come
with
on,
Children.
no closer. Oh, man, I was worried for a second there.
Four stories that all share one thing. Ordinary people who've had extraordinary encounters. We hope that by sharing their experiences with you, we've helped you get closer to learning the hidden truth.
Yes.
I'm John Marshall. Good night.
What a great show.
Join host Elvira, George Carlin, and your favorite Fox stars for...
Join Elvira, George Carlin, and David Faustino for the Fox Halloween Bash. All right, I'm going to go. I like the show. I think it's interesting. I thought at first maybe it was going to be all UFOs, but it seems like they are starting to work in other stuff now. So I think we'll definitely revisit Encounters. But thanks for hanging out. I'll be back in the morning for XPW, probably something in the afternoon, but we'll have to see what time, because XPW sometimes runs like super far over. But anyway, I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you later.